What's up, Joshua? What's up, man? How you doing today? Let me turn my volume down here and we will jump into our week 2 waiver wire show. We're gonna go over week 2 waiver ads. Obviously it's gonna depend on your league. You know, there's gonna be some guys that are available in a lot of leagues according to the metrics, according to the percentages, you know, but you might be in a league where that's not the case. And so we'll go over pretty much all of the notable names, you know, the most notable names, and then we'll also go over guys that maybe are available in your particular league but not, like, you know, everybody else's. Let's just put it that way. So give me 1 second here, let me copy paste this URL. And I don't have the little thing created. We're just gonna have to click on it here. Let me go to this real quick so I can get your guys' comments up here. Hold on a second. I'm gonna copy paste it from here. All right. Paste reference, there it is. Lock that in. Actually, we don't have to lock that in. We can lock this in now. All right, so this is your waiver, pretty much your waiver wire guys, you know, at the positions. The percentage next to everybody's name is basically available. Like that's how many leagues they're available in, roughly. So, you know, guys like Nakua, Bourne, these guys are available in a lot of leagues. Let's just put it that way. And so, you know, let's just kind of break this down. I would say my top waiver wire ad is going to be Flowers. Flowers is number 1. I know he's not available in a lot of leagues, but if he is available in somebody's league for some reason, I just put him on here because he's almost 30% according to Yahoo. Yahoo kind of gives out percentages on which, you know, guys are rostered. And they kind of do that for some of these other sites too, but they really don't. It's kind of weird. I mean, I guess I can look on here. I guess on Flea Flicker it'll tell me. So Flowers is rostered like 85%, and like my Flea Flicker, I don't know if it really tells this in Sleeper or not. Let me look in Sleeper real quick. Flowers is owned in all of my leagues, so obviously he's a guy who's, you know, kind of out there. See, it doesn't really say, it says like 0% roster, 0% starter, which is not correct. I don't know why it says that here. Sleeper usually has a percentage, but it's all messed up. So if you're in a Yahoo league, if you're in an ESPN league, I'm not quite so sure about ESPN either. My guess is he's not really going to be available in most of your ESPN leagues. But in Yahoo, it's like, I don't know, there's a bunch of grandmas that play on Yahoo. Yahoo, he would be probably available in, you know, like I said, about 20%, 25% of leagues. He is by far the league winner, I think, that's out there right now, if he's out there. I think he's a league winner. I think he like if somebody had him in my league, or let's say somebody didn't have him in my league and he was out there, I would spend like 40 or 50 bucks on him, especially if I needed a receiver. So hold on a second, let me change the music back to my other song. Okay, so yeah, go get Flowers. Flowers is a league winner if he's out there, and go spend a good 40 to 50 bucks on him if you have to, especially if you got $200 a budget. If you only got 100, I would still probably spend about 40, you know, if he was out there. Other notable guys: Romeo Dobbs, Nakua, Zay Jones. If you know, Zay Jones and Dobbs are both 69% available out there. Nakua and Bourne 92, 97%. Shaheed 83%. I wouldn't really look into some of these guys too much that are down here on the list. I think Bourne is maybe worth an ad, you know, depending. I wouldn't pay a ton for him. Obviously, if it's fab dollars, which you guys should be in fab dollars. If you guys don't have fab dollars for your waiver wire, you guys are doing it wrong. I think the waiver wire order is stupid because it doesn't give people a fair chance to go get a player that they want. Let's see. You traded away Dak, Montgomery in return for Saquon. Do I use my number one waiver reverse standing waiver on Puka, Deshaun Watson, somehow available, 12-man, half PPR, 1 QB league, no backup QB, but Kyler on IR. Who's your main quarterback now that you traded away Dak though? You need a quarterback is what I'm guessing, right? So you traded away Dak and Montgomery. You got Saquon. Good trade, by the way. That is rock solid trade. You just bought low on Saquon. You took that guy to the bank, dude, to get Saquon for that low. I mean, you gave away like a 7th round pick in Montgomery and a 8th or 9th round pick, and so you don't have one. All right, I figure you don't have one. Yeah, you got to go get a quarterback, man. So go get Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson's the best available out there, I would go get him. Love is obviously at the top up here, 68% not owned. He would be my go-to if I needed a quarterback. If I need a quarterback, I would go get Love. But if Watson's out there, it makes it a little more difficult to take Love over Watson. I understand that. I don't know though. Love could be better than Watson this year in fantasy, man. You got Goff, Love, Daniel Jones on waiver. Let me look at something real quick, man. Let me pull up both their schedules. This is tough, dude. I really think Love is a good addition if you need a quarterback. I would add Love on just about every one of my rosters. I could add him in my Flea Flicker league, but I really don't need a quarterback because I got Justin Fields. I could get Puka then. Probably still get Love. Just would pass up on Deshaun. Yeah, man. Hold on a second. Let me pull both these guys up real quick. This is a big time move for you too, especially considering you have waiver wire number 1. This is very important for you. I mean, Love's got Atlanta this week. He's got New Orleans week 3. That's going to be a little bit tough. And he's got Detroit, Vegas. Love definitely has an easier schedule if I'm correct. Let me pull up the schedule, strength of schedules. Actually, I should just add this on here. I can add it on here real quick. Let me put this on here real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Gotta find it though first. Here it is. All right. Let's just put this up here in the top right corner. Here's our strength of schedule. Close this out real quick. I mean, so Love's with the Packers. Obviously, they have where are they at? So they're like right here in the middle here, 13th easiest. The Browns are right behind them here, so they both have relatively easy schedules. You know, about middle of the pack. Watson's got Pittsburgh this week, Tennessee. Both of those defenses are pretty solid. Baltimore's kind of solid. They're a little weak in the secondary. And they got bye week. Love's got Atlanta this week. I think he's going to have a good game against Atlanta this week. He's got New Orleans week 3. That's going to be a tough outing, obviously. New Orleans' defense is pretty good. Detroit, Vegas. Those are easy matchups. Bye week. Denver, Minnesota, Rams, Pittsburgh. Chargers, Detroit again. Kansas City. I would go Love, man. I really would. I would go Love, bro. I know it's tough to pass on Deshaun Watson. I get that. But maybe there's a chance you could get them both. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a chance you go Deshaun, and then maybe you go Love. Of course, you're giving up Nakua or somebody like that. If you really need a receiver, like I said, if Flowers isn't there, if Dobbs isn't there, Nakua would be my go-to. I think Nakua is a good addition. Let Let me hide that. I think Nakua is a good addition. I might try to get Nakua in one of my leagues. I don't know how much I'm going to spend. I got a bunch of guys who watch my show that are in my league. They know what I'm, you know, I talk to them regularly. A lot of guys in my league are not stupid, by the way. You know, I'm in a killer league. Really, both the leagues I'm in are you know, I got killers in them. Like they do not like they're not grandmas. Let's just put it that way. And so, you know, I don't know how much I'm going to put on these guys. If you're in a fab dollar, really, I can't tell you how much to put on players. You kind of have to know your league mates. I don't really know your league mates because I'm not in league with you guys, so I don't really know what the trends are for guys that are in your league. You know what I mean? So you guys will have to determine how much. If you really want a player, okay, it's the only advice I give you. If you really want a player, like a Zay Flowers, which he probably isn't out there, but you never know. There's some leagues where he is. I would spend like 40. I would spend about 30 to 40% if you really wanted a player and you think he's a league winner. Now, I don't think there's really any guys on the list right now that are like that, except for maybe Love and Flowers. And that's really if you need a quarterback or you need a receiver. Kincaid right here, down here at the tight end, or tight end room. Obviously, he's probably not going to be available either, but if he was, Kincaid would also fit that category. I don't really think there's a running back out there that is a league, win a league. Maybe Algier, but Algier's not going to be out there much. I wouldn't think Algier would be, like, it's 43% that he's not owned. I don't know. I mean, that's Yahoo, so, you know, ESPN, he's probably owned a little more. If you're a sleeper or flea flicker or something like that, CBS, he's probably owned a little bit more. You think there's any merit to Kyler eventually coming back? Could maybe ride Love until then? No. I don't, dude, Kyler, you're not going to see Kyler play a game this year, I don't think. I'm being dead honest with you guys. Because you got to think, dude, Kyler maybe comes back week 8, week 9. If they're bad by then, which they will be, they're going to be tanking, brother. They're going to be tanking to go get Caleb Williams. So I don't know if we even see Kyler play this year. I would, and even if we do see him play, maybe he only plays like a game or two. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. Now, I mean, he's on your IR, so I would hang on to him, and you know, I wouldn't drop him unless you need to fill somebody else with your IR spot. Like if you have an IR spot, you can put him there. You don't need to put anybody else there because say everybody else on your team is healthy, then I would just keep him there. But I don't think Kyler's going to be very relevant this year. Let's just put it that way. Which three do I go with? Puka, Bourne, or Shaheed? I like Puka the most because I don't believe in Cooper Kupp this year. I don't believe he's going to be, I don't think he's going to be very relevant this year either. I know he's missing the first 4 games because he's on the IR right now, so he's got 3 more games to miss. Puka is a good fill-in for you for the next 3 weeks. He's going to have a rough week this week, though, potentially. I wouldn't expect too much for Puka this week. He's got the Niners coming to town. That's going to be a tough outing for him. But you never know. You never know. Stafford, look, Stafford's going to be Stafford's one of those guys, and we know this. He's going to force the ball to somebody, whoever's getting open. And Nakua is a dog. He was getting open in the preseason. I should have probably picked him up in my auction league. I should have just drafted him at the end. I ended up going with like Mingo instead. I feel bad for doing it because now I'm gonna have to spend some money to actually get him here in the waiver wire because he is out there. But Nakua is one of those dudes that I think they stole in the draft. He plays a lot like Cooper Kupp, man. I know it's weird. He's like a Cooper Kupp clone. He plays like him. He's not quite as good as him, obviously, because he's a rookie and he needs a little bit more experience under his belt. But the guy can run routes. He can get open. He's got good hands. He doesn't drop a whole lot of balls. I think he had only 3 drops in his whole college career at BYU. He is a very reliable guy, and Stafford is looking for reliability. You look at Van Jefferson dropping that ball for like a touchdown last game. Basically, he had a touchdown if he would have caught that ball. I forget when it was, first or second half, one or the other. He's going to start forcing it to the guy who, like guys who he can rely on and guys who can get open. And I think Puka's that guy, at least until Kupp comes back. But there's also a chance that I think that Kupp maybe, like, I think it's a lot worse. I think his injury is a lot worse. I think he's going to end up missing more than 4 games. Okay, I think maybe there is a chance he comes back week 5. Maybe there's a chance he does come back week 5 and he re-aggravates it again. So Puka would be the guy who I think is in the best scenario. Shaheed is good, but he's got competition. He's got Mike Thomas. He's got Chris Olave. He's got Jawan Johnson at tight end. He's got more competition. I don't think Puka has any competition other than Cooper Kupp, who's sidelined right now. So Bourne doesn't have the best quarterback in Mac Jones. I know he had a decent game against the Eagles. We'll see if that stays around. And I don't know. I would just, the Rams are going to sling it. They're going to sling it way more than the Patriots will. The Patriots might start leaning on Ramondre and Zeke a little bit here, you know, in some games coming forward. They're going to throw the ball as well, but you got to remember that he's got Hunter Henry as well. He's got Juju out there. He's got, you know, maybe if what's his face? I can't even think of his name. Devontae Parker comes back. I know he was sidelined last game. They paid him a lot of money, so he's going to take away some, you know, some targets and stuff. The guy who has a very good outlook, I think, is Nakua. And I think Nakua, I'm telling you guys right now, this guy's good. This guy is really, really good. Don't sleep on this guy. This guy, next to Zay Flowers, man, he's looking like he should have been drafted higher. You know what I mean? They stole this guy in round 6, I believe. So, who do I drop between Bigsby, McKinnon, and Juju? I dropped Juju last week. So, I think Juju's not going to be the same guy that he was in Kansas City with my Chiefs last year. Get 2 running. I'm not dropping Bigsby. Let's just put it that way. It would be between McKinnon and Juju. I'm not dropping Bigsby. I'm not dropping him because if something happens to ETN, or if ETN starts coughing the ball up again like he did last year, Bigsby is going to be the guy. And Bigsby is on the best offense out of all 3 of these guys. So you can't drop guys that are on good offense. This is another thing to consider. A lot of the league winners and stuff that we find in week 1 and week 2 or whenever, a lot of the things that they have in common is opportunity and they're on a good team. Now, Nakua is kind of on a bad team in the Rams, in my opinion. I think he's a good receiver. I think there's a chance that Stafford starts feeding him, like just forcing the ball to him. Really, he did start forcing the ball to him in the last game. But granted, the Seahawks have a bad defense, okay? This is going to be a little bit different story this week with the Niners in town. Don't be shocked if the Niners kind of just clamp down on the run game and the pass game against the Rams. They're going to make the Rams look bad this week, I think. By the way, Niners Survivor League, that's kind of like the easiest one out there right now this week, if you're looking for one. I'll go over Survivor League picks like tomorrow or something. I'll make a video on it tomorrow. Today's only Tuesday, so... I have Sutton Judy on the same team. I also had Devontae Smith. Should I keep both or trade one? If so, which Broncos wide receiver? I would trade Judy. The problem is you're not gonna be able to get anything for him right now, until he plays. Probably you're gonna need to see him play. I like Sutton. I have Sutton on one of my teams. I told you guys I wasn't really high on Judy this year. I thought he was injury prone, and what do you know? He's been injured the start of the season. I don't know if there's really any new. I haven't really looked at the news lately, to be honest. Is there any news about Judy playing this week? I think he's questionable, last I remember, but I don't think he's going to play this week, to be honest. Let me see if there's any news. See if there's really any news. See, this is the problem about this. They're giving me news about like how good guys did last night, which I don't need. I already know. You could maybe keep them both for right now. I wouldn't. Everybody's kind of going to start panicking. I know a lot of you guys had bad weeks, or some people had bad weeks. Some people maybe had good weeks. A lot of guys kind of got off to a rough start this week. You know, they either had like decent games but didn't fall in the end zone, you know, kind of had mediocre weeks. So a lot of people are going to be rushing to make trades and stuff. I would pump the brakes on some of the guys, like if you own like a Mixon or a Chubb or even a Kenneth Walker or Saquon Barkley. Like we just had this guy who got Saquon Barkley for free basically, because I bet you the owner's freaking out and they're becoming an overreacting Oscar, right? They're overreacting to one bad week because Saquon got scripted out of the game basically. And so you got to look at why things happen, and you got to put that into perspective, and you got to dissect it down to like why things are happening and what is the best thing that you can do moving forward. So if you get a guy on your team like a Kenneth Walker, like a Barkley, like a Chubb even, well, not even really Chubb, but like Mixon. Chubb just didn't fall in the end zone, but like Mixon, those guys at running back, those guys got game scripted out of their games, okay? And they really didn't have bad weeks. They just didn't fall in the end zone. And they didn't really see a whole lot of opportunity in the second half because their teams were playing from behind and they were playing in the wet rain, you know, like in the case of Mixon and you know, in the case of Saquon. I would not look into that too much, okay? And I wouldn't panic over it and start trading these guys away for nothing. A lot of people who don't own those guys are going to be trying to come and like snake those guys away from their owners for a lower value because they had bad weeks. Now, you can be one of those guys and try to do that. I would encourage you to go do that. But I would also encourage you, if you're somebody who owns those players, to not panic over a midweek, basically, because they got game scripted out of their games. So, all right, Alex, I apologize for going on a little rant there. Half PPR, 6-point passing touchdowns. Current team is Hurts, Jettis. That is Justin Jefferson, for those of you guys who don't know. Wilson, Evans, Kirk. I'm assuming that's Christian Kirk, right? Jerry Jeudy. You got ETN, Breece Hall, Miles Sanders, Montgomery, Ingram, Freiermuth. Was offered Cousins, Saquon, Higgins for Hurts, Breece, Evans. Thoughts? Don't take it. Don't take it. Don't have a little buzzer here. Don't I have a little ant buzzer? No, I don't. Yeah, or here you go. Let's just do that. Don't take that. Did I hit that? There you go. Boom. Yeah, don't do that, man. Like I said, Hurts is another one of those guys. Don't panic on Hurts. He had a bad game. I understand. People are like, man, I was expecting better. The Patriots do have a decent defense. You got to keep that in mind. They had a pick six, you know. The Philly had a pick six. I wouldn't overreact to like a Hurts, like Lamar. The running backs we've already talked about. Don't overreact to Higgins, really, even. I do not like Higgins, really. I think Higgins... I thought he was a bad pick in round 2, round 3. I didn't like him at all in best ball. I didn't really take him at all in best ball, to be honest. He was going way too soon because I thought Smith and Calvin Ridley were drafted right around him, were much better picks, considering that they're not the number 2. Well, Smith is kind of the number 2, but Smith is a better receiver than Higgins, like hands down. It's not even close. And then Ridley's the number 1 guy for the Jaguars, and he was going to see a ton of opportunity, which he did in week 1. So I'm not taking Higgins, and I'm not giving away Breece. And dude, if I wouldn't give away Breece for all 3 of those guys, if I'm being honest. I really wouldn't, unless I was dying and I needed to fill some roster spots. You know what I mean? Breece is going to come along. I told you guys about Breece. He's on my team. I had him on the bench last night. You know, I didn't start him because I had Walker and Mixon and Chubb in this week. But I don't know if I'll start him next week. We'll see. They got a tough matchup against Dallas. They are going to start leaning on Breece, though, and Cook. Now that Rodgers is gone. So I think it could be a bad week for the Jets next week. I would almost say the Cowboys are a good survivor pick next week. Or this week coming up as well. Like I said, I'll get into Survivor tomorrow. All right, Evan, you lost J.K. Dobbins. My running backs are now Saquon, Swift, and Warren. Oh, my God. I'm going to hit that for you. Feeling desperate for a running back on waivers. How much fab would you suggest you use on either Gainwell or Kyron? All right, I think let's get to the running backs here. I think Kyron is fool's gold. Okay, I think Kyron is fool's gold. They're going to get smoked this week by the Niners. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball a lick against the Niners this week. I know it's concerning for Akers owners, and I know if you're looking to get a running back, Kyron kind of looks appealing, but I think he's fool's gold. Keep Warren. I know Warren's a guy you're gonna have to wait on. Warren could be like Kenneth Walker of last year. Okay, Warren's just, you're gonna have to wait. If something happens to Najee, Warren is a must own. Okay, and so like I drafted Warren. I'm not getting rid of Warren. I like Kelly to a degree. Kelly's in the same scenario though, and I know Eckler kind of had a minor ankle injury this week. I think he went back in eventually. I know he missed some time. Kelly dominated while he was gone. I thought the Dolphins defense was a little bit better, so I'm actually kind of shocked that Kelly did so well. But I do like Kelly, and Kelly's one of those guys. Like if I am an Austin Eckler owner, which I'm not, I don't have Austin Eckler in my two main leagues. Yeah, I got Bijan as like RB1, and I got like Brees and Chubb in the other, you know, and Mixon and Walker. But if I owned Eckler, I am like sprinting to go get Kelly, because if something happens, and God forbid it doesn't, you know, knock on wood, although I would probably benefit if Eckler, you know, missed a few games. Kelly's a guy I would want to own immediately. I would make sure I had him handcuffed, because you never know, man. Eckler's 28. He's been on top for the last 2 years as far as fantasy goes, especially in full PPR. This could be the year, man, where he has kind of like an Austin Eckler year where he's, you know, he does okay, but then he gets hampered, he gets sidelined from like an ankle injury or something, or even a hamstring issue or something, you know. So I would just, yeah, if I'm an Eckler owner, I would want Kelly. If I'm not an Eckler owner, I kind of still want Kelly, but I wouldn't really need running backs, you know what I mean? It's going to be tough for me, like in my auction league, because I don't really need a running back. I have Brees Hall, Chubb, Mixon, and Walker. I do like Roschon. I think Roschon's another guy. I obviously like Algier. If Algier's out there, he's like the #1 ad off the running back waiver. You know what I mean? Like if he is the top guy in your waiver pool, Algier is a must add. Flowers, Algier, and Kincaid, like I said, and Love. Those are like the top guys at their positions on the waiver. Kincaid and Flowers are probably not there, but if they were, they would obviously be at the very, very top. Algier is at the top of the running back pool if he's there, and he's there in like 43% of leagues according to the number I pulled off of Yahoo. It might be a little bit different in ESPN. It might be a little bit different, you know, if you're on Sleeper or something. But Roschon, I think Roschon has potential to win a league, especially if you're in full PPR. It's a little different maybe if you're in half or if you're in standard. Full PPR though, I think he's a win a league player. I don't know if I'm spending a ton of money on him. I would maybe spend somewhere around 15-ish, you know, somewhere around there. You don't have to have them. If you do need a running back, you might want to spend a little bit more, obviously. But Roschon's a guy who you're going to have to be patient with as well. He's not going to deliver for you right away. I know he had a decent week this week. I expect him to maybe come back down to earth a little bit this week. But he can win the job over Khalil Herbert, over Foreman. I know it's a little bit of a crowded backfield, but he's playing third downs. He's playing the passing downs. He's getting the ball checked down to him. He caught, what, 6 passes on 7 targets, I believe. I think he tied for the most targets on the team at running back position, you know, or really just at any position. But he's a guy who, like, week 8, week 9, or if something happens to, you know, obviously something happens to Herbert. Really, I don't even think anything needs to happen to Herbert is the thing. That's the difference between Roschon and Kelly, Warren, Bigsby, and who am I forgetting? So, and I would even throw Kyron in there. I know Kyron played a lot of snaps, but Kyron, Bigsby, Warren, Kelly. The difference between those 4 guys and Roschon is Roschon doesn't need anybody to get hurt. Roshan can win the job. He can take the job from Khalil Herbert. Okay, so Roshan's out there. Like, Roshan is a definite guy who's out there. 84% not owned. He would be my top guy for the most part. Him and Kelly. Algier would obviously be really the top guy over all of them. But Roshan, Algier, Kelly. I think Kyron is fool's gold. I don't want Kyron. Somebody else can have Kyron, if I'm being honest. If you guys like him, go get him. But I'm telling you guys right now, I think he's fool's gold. And look, people are going to pick him up and they're going to start him this week and they're going to pay the price. But maybe he's something down the line, you know, when they get better matchups. You know, Cam Akers still got 22 carries, I believe. I know a lot of it was kind of in garbage time though as well. It's kind of weird, man. I didn't really see Kyron coming out of nowhere like he did. I really thought Akers had that backfield to himself for the most part. I don't think Kyron Williams is good. I really don't. I'm telling you guys right now, Kyron had a good game because of how bad Seattle's defense is. Seattle's defense is terrible against the run. They were horrible against the run last year, and they obviously, hey, this is what happens when you don't draft Jalen Carter. This is what happens when you're Seattle and you don't draft Jalen Carter. It was a horrible, horrible pick. And, you know, God bless Witherspoon. Hopefully he turns out. But they should have drafted Jalen Carter because they can't stop the run. They can't stop the run, and they had a guy who could plug the middle, who could pass rush and, you know, rush against the run. And they passed on him. They passed on him. So they should have went and got Jalen Carter. They messed up, and now they still cannot stop the run, basically. After last year they were terrible. Let me look and see exactly how bad they were last year stopping the run. They were terrible. I already know they were bad. So, and that's what Kyron Williams basically benefited from. He benefited from, you know, a bad defense. It's not going to be the same this week whenever he plays the Niners. I promise you guys. I promise you. Defensive leaders. Let's go 2022 regular season. Last year, rushing yards per game. Seattle gave up the third most. The third most behind the Bears and behind the Texans. Or in front of the Bears and in front of the Texans. They're terrible. Let's see what they're ranked right now this year. Yeah, they're ranked like middle. You know, they only gave up 92 yards rushing, but they gave up 2 touchdowns. They couldn't stop the run, it seemed like. And really, a lot of this was, you know, I think a lot of it was, I mean, Stafford was throwing it for the most part whenever they would get the ball on their side of the field. But once they got to the Seattle side of the field, they could not stop them from just running it into the end zone. So, I mean, there's 3 rushing touchdowns, right? Akers had 1. Kyron Williams had 2. I mean, they could stop the run. So the Dolphins couldn't stop the run either. Obviously, they suck. The Dolphins' run defense, wow, that's terrible. The Bills, obviously, their run defense got exposed last night. I mean, Breece Hall just... If anybody had any doubts about Breece, I think they ought to go watch the highlights from last night. That guy is... He's literally him. He's him. Cincinnati's rush defense, not very good in the opener. Pittsburgh the same way. This is good news for Chubb. I think Cleveland's got Pittsburgh this year, or this week. And so Pittsburgh and Cleveland, hopefully Chubb has a good game here against the Steelers. We'll see. Steelers might clamp down. Tomlin's going to be all over them after what they gave up to McCaffrey and those guys. Like I said, I think Kyron Williams, I think he's a little bit of fool's gold. I'm not going to be making a claim on him. Let's just put it that way. I really don't need to in either of my leagues. I'm going to try to go get a couple of other guys. I'm not really going to say who I'm going to try to go get because I know there's people that are in my league that will watch this. Let's just put it this way. If Algier's top of the list, if he's out there, I think Roshan, Kelly, those guys are, you know, guys I kind of like. Warren and Bigsby should not be out there. Okay, I put them on here because they're 55% not owned. They're owned in like all my leagues, so I don't even have to really worry about those guys. Bigsby, I like him. I would probably take Warren over Bigsby. I own Warren in I think one of my leagues. So he sat on the bench this past week. It is what it is. Hunt is so Kareem Hunt's down here at the bottom, 89% not owned. He is a dark horse that's kind of out there. There's gonna like, if you guys want Hunt, you can go get him for free. You can probably spend like $1 or $2. If you have fab dollars, you can spend like $1 or $2 to get him this week. I think he would be worth an ad if you were dying for a running back. Okay. Hunt is going to be a guy who gets signed somewhere here in the next week or two. Dobbins just went down this week. So look for Baltimore maybe to sign him, or Fournette. Look for the Colts, maybe the Eagles. You know, who knows? Because the Eagles, who knows what's going on in their backfield. There's going to be some teams out there that are going to be, you know, the Dolphins. I almost forgot about the Dolphins. There's going to be a team that signs one of these guys, either like Fournette or Hunt. Hunt would be the guy that I would want out of the two, I think. If I'm dying for a running back, you're gonna have to be patient. He's gonna have to sit on your bench, obviously, until he signs somewhere. But he will eventually. I promise you guys, he will. Dang, Flo, you don't have to spam it, dude. I see it, bro. I see it. Should I trade James Conner and Deontay Johnson for Garrett Wilson? I'm trying to trade my Garrett Wilson, dude. Like right now, I'm trying to trade my Garrett Wilson, but I'm trying to get more than that. I would not trade Garrett Wilson for those two guys, so I would say yes. I would say yes. Let me look. How good did Connor do? I don't trust the Arizona Cardinals anyways. Connor got you like 9.5 last week. I guess he would have gotten you what, 12 if it was full PPR. 5 catches for 8 yards, 14 for 62. This is the problem with Connor. He's not going to score touchdowns. He didn't score a touchdown last week. He's not going to score very many this year, I don't think, because their offense is just not good enough to be living in the red zone enough. You know what I mean? Flo, I would say yes. If you can get Garrett Wilson for those two guys, look, Deontay's going to miss this week and next week probably. He's probably going to be out at least 2 weeks. Connor, if you're good in the running back department, you can live without Connor, then yes. If you have two guys ahead of Connor on your depth chart that are better than Connor, and then maybe you could snag one of these guys like an Algier, like a Roshan, like a Kelly, like a Warren, even Spears. Like, I think Spears is a little bit underrated as well. I think, like, I would actually have Spears over Kyron. I don't know why I have Kyron. I don't even know why I have Kyron over Spears. I just kind of put these guys in a little bit of a random order. I think Spears is better than Kyron. I would actually claim Spears over Kyron all day if I needed a running back. Gus as well. I will probably, you know what I mean? So if you have two guys that are better than Connor, you can live without James Conner. I don't think James Conner is all that in a bag of chips. I don't really think he's going to be relevant this year. He's going to have a bad year. He's touchdown dependent. That's the problem with James Conner. He is touchdown dependent, and he's on a bad team that's going to lose a lot of games this year, and they're not going to score a lot of points. And so if you got two guys that better than Connor, Deontay Johnson's going to at least miss this week, probably week 3 as well. Go get Garrett Wilson for it. I'm trying to trade Garrett Wilson right now. I think his value dropped significantly when Rodgers went down last night, but I would take Wilson for those two guys. Wendigo, you said, I just traded Cousins, Mixon away for Josh Allen. Thoughts? That manager had Dobbins. I feel like you could have got more. Let's just put it that way. I don't think it's a bad trade. I'm not going to say it's terrible. I'm not going to say it's the best trade I've ever seen, though, either. God, Josh Allen, dude. Josh Allen is not the same quarterback without Brian Dable. That's what I learned from last night. I kind of was thinking that last year. I traded Josh Allen away last year. He was on my team last year. I traded him away. He was one of my keepers going into the 2022 season. I'm glad I traded him away, to be honest. I ended up getting like good Kenneth Walker and a couple other pieces for him. I would say I would have waited to get rid of Mixon. I would have waited. I would wait for Mixon's Mixon to have a decent game, like a 15-20 point game, a touchdown, or maybe a couple of touchdowns and close to 100 yards rushing or something like that. I would have waited for one of those games, and then I would sell Mixon, and I would try to get, you would have got more for him. Cousins, yeah, you're winning. You're definitely winning the trade as far as the quarterback matchups go. Giving away Mixon, no, I don't know, man. I don't know. You gotta think, dude, this guy. So the reason why I say it is that this guy had Dobbins, so he's desperate. He's desperate for a running back. What I'm saying is, maybe you could have got like another guy for him, like another receiver or something, or I don't know what you would need. What players would you try to trade away? Garrett Wilson for, like Gibbs, ETN. I would try to get everything I could for Wilson. I'm telling you guys right now, I'm gonna give you guys this advice right now, because I am a Garrett Wilson owner. I own him in one of my league. I own him in the league that I got second this week. I ended up losing last night. The guy came back and beat us. He beat us by like 15, I think. It was close though all night until obviously that kick return for a touchdown, because he had the Jets defense. But I am a Garrett Wilson owner in that league, and I'm trying to get rid of him right now, because I think come next week, I think he's got a bad matchup against Dallas, a Dallas defense that is really, really good. They have 2 Pro Bowl corners with a bad quarterback now throwing the ball to him. There's a chance, I think there's a very good chance Garrett Wilson does not score next week, or this week coming up. And he has kind of a piss poor game. Really, he was having a piss poor game last night until he got that touchdown, right? He was having a piss poor game until he got that touchdown. That was a bad ball that he had to tip to himself to catch. That's how bad Zach Wilson was playing last night. And it's not going to change next week. It's not going to change. And so, look, Garrett Wilson can survive with bad quarterback play. He did it last year. He can do it again. But he's not going to be that 14 or let's say 1,300 to 1,500 yard receiver that we were hoping he was going to be this year, that he probably was going to be this year. Now he's going to be around that 1,100, maybe lucky if he cracks 1,000, if I'm being honest, because he's got the same situation that he had last year. He only scored 4 touchdowns last year with the bad quarterback play. We were looking at a 10 touchdown season from him this year, maybe even more. But now I think that's out the window, unless like Tom Brady comes out of retirement somehow, some way soon. I think that's out the window. And so you're not going to be able to get rid of Garrett Wilson if he has a bad game this week against Dallas, which I think he is in for. Okay, 2 Pro Bowl corners, Diggs, Gilmore, bad quarterback play. It's going to be a rough go. That Dallas defense is the real deal. Just like the Jets defense is the real deal, so is Dallas's. Okay, you guys think Wilson was running for his life last night? Wait until he's got Micah Parsons and Lawrence coming after him on Sunday. And so right now, I'm a Garrett Wilson owner. I'm trying to get rid of Garrett Wilson right now, and I'm trying to get everything I can for him. If you have to include another player with him to go get like a Ridley, to go get Gibbs or even ETN, I mean, I don't know if I'm trading him for ETN straight up. I want to, because if you're getting rid of Wilson, you're going to want a receiver in return, would be my guess, unless you are loaded at receiver. If you're loaded at receiver, you have enough depth behind him, you can get a good running back, like a 3rd round running back, like an ETN, like a Gibbs. I would do it. But like right now, I'm trying to get Ridley in one league. I'm trying to kind of buy low on Chase in a 2-player trade, like 2 players a team trade. I'm trying to get Tyreek Hill potentially in like a 2 or 3 player trade. I mean, I'm adding guys on with Wilson because I have some depth at running back in that league, and so I'm trying to get everything I can for Wilson, because I'm telling you guys right now, when Wilson has a bad week coming up, and he will, I believe he will, you're not going to be able to get like a 5th or a 6th round player for him. Is Burrow safe to start for week 2? Yes. Burrow's going to bounce back, bro. He's going to bounce back. The Giants are going to bounce back this week too. They're going to take it out on the crappy Cardinals. They got Baltimore this week. Baltimore's secondary is not very good. I think it's going to get torched this week, if I'm being honest. I do kind of worry about the offensive line. The offensive line just did not look good, and I know Cleveland's got a good defensive line. They really have a good defense overall. I just thought the Bengals, you know, maybe it was the rain. Who knows what it was? You got to think, if they're not playing in a monsoon again or semi, you know, tropical storm or whatever again, Burrow's going to bounce back, bro. He's going to bounce back. James Conner, Drake London for Amari Cooper and AJ Dillon. I get Amari. You're getting the Amari Cooper, AJ Dillon side? Punch it. Punch it. Punch it, and I'll call the veto police. Yeah, I'm out on Connor, bro. I think Cooper's a good guy to take over London. And yeah, I'll take AJ Dillon as well, especially with a potential hamstring issue for Jones. Dillon, I'm telling you guys right now, Dillon, if he's out there on the waiver wire, if he gets his shot with like Jones being sidelined for a few weeks, he's going to be a potential league winner candidate as well. Wilson for Gibbs. Punch it. Punch it. I would punch it right now because I'm telling you right now, he's going to have a bad week this week. I would put money on it that he has a bad week this week. He should have had a bad game last night, but the defense kept giving him the ball in like the 20, and then Wilson threw a terrible ball that was not outside, and Garrett Wilson had to tip it to himself to freaking catch it. That's how bad the ball was. I was watching the Manning cast last night whenever I watched Monday Night Football because I don't like Joe Buck and all those guys because they're kind of annoying. So I watched the Mannings. The Mannings were clowning Zach Wilson for how bad of a ball that was on that goal line fade. And that guy, he runs a bootleg and he runs backwards 20 yards. And I know that offensive line's not good, and I know it struggled last night, but you think it struggled last night? You wait until they play the Cowboys this week. It's really going to struggle then. And you've got 2 Pro Bowl corners on that defense. Drop the sub. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, Zova. I get Brees, Laporta, Mike Evans, trade away Kelsey, Mooney, Dynasty. You get Laporta, Mike Evans, and Brees. In Dynasty, you trade away Kelsey, Mooney. I don't know why you wouldn't take that. I don't know. Like, are you in a grandma league, bro? Who's trading you freaking those 3 guys for Kelsey and Mooney in Dynasty? Dude, call the freaking veto police. Call the veto police. Yeah, smash that, dude. Smash that in Dynasty. If you're getting Laporta, Brees, and Evans, I know Evans is a little older, but so is Kelsey. I would probably do that for just Brees, to be honest. I'm a little bit Brees biased, man. I'm a Brees owner. I know I had him on the bench, so I can't really talk too much crap, but I couldn't believe how good he looked last night. It was crazy how good he looked. Like I said, and literally everything I said came true last night about Brees. I said, draft him. I said, you're going to have to be patient with him maybe the first 3-4 weeks. I said, he's probably going to get 8 to 12 touches. You know, he's going to be on a little bit of a touch count, 8 to 12 touches. But I said, he could still be efficient with those touches. And guess what? He was. He didn't fall in the end zone, but he broke off a 26-yard run, an 83-yard run. He broke off a little 9-yard run on a stretch that probably should have went for no gain. The guy is so special. If he gets a one-on-one at the line of scrimmage with a linebacker or even a defensive lineman, he's just going to cook them. He's just going to break their ankles. It's crazy. Like, I told you, this guy's built different. He had a clean ACL tear. He didn't really have the meniscus, the LCL, any of that stuff. I think he had a little bit of meniscus, but the LCL and the MCL were intact. It was just a straight, clean ACL. He had plenty. It's not like he was coming back on 6 months or 7 months. He had plenty of time to recover, ample time to recover. The guy looked phenomenal, and he's only going to keep getting better and better each week as each week goes on. In my opinion, I think it's good that they're sharing carries with him and Cook. Oh my God, somebody's car alarm's going off. Yeah, so I think it's good that Cook and Brees were sharing carries. This is going to take the load off Brees a little bit. It's going to keep him healthy. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter because the guy is so efficient with his carries. He's so efficient. He can catch the ball. He caught a 20-yard screen. He's going to catch more balls now that Rodgers is gone. They're going to have to dump the ball a little bit. The offensive line isn't as great. They're going to start getting these running backs involved. including Michael Carter as well. And so this is good for Brees, especially in full PPR. And although the line isn't the greatest at pass blocking, I think they're decent enough in the run game. They're going to start leaning on these running backs now that Rodgers is gone. So if you got Brees this year, I think you got really good reason to be optimistic, especially as the weeks go on. So, I mean, that dude is so efficient with his carries, it doesn't even matter that Cook's there. He's so much more efficient. 2 weeks ago, I traded away Dak and Garrett Wilson for Hurts. Everyone said I lost that trade, and out of me, not anymore. That's the way it goes, man. And like, you know, everybody tries to figure out what's a fair trade and what's not a fair trade. And, you know, in some leagues, like in my league, there's really no vetoes because you don't really know who wins a trade. Okay. We can sit here and guess all day about who we think is good value for a certain player. But at the end of the day, if a player goes down that you traded for, yeah, you're going to lose the trade. If you traded a player to somebody else and it looked pretty fair on paper, and you got another player in return, if his player that you traded away to him gets hurt, yeah, you won the trade. That's why we don't have vetoes and stuff like that in our league, because nobody knows who's going to get hurt down the line. You know, you can kind of put some things together, like, okay, he's old, he's got an injury history. You can kind of put that together and be like, okay, he's got a higher percentage of getting hurt. But the reason why, like, you know, in my league we don't have any vetoes is like you don't know who's getting the better end of the deal really until the end of the year. You know what I mean? Until week 18 is done and we can sit there and be like, okay, this guy missed this many games, this guy played better in these games. And so I can sit here and advise you guys on trades. Like I said, Garrett Wilson, I would try to get everything I could for him right now. Because I do think, you know, and at the end of the day, we're just guessing on this. I do think he's going to have a rough game this week. So if you're looking to make a trade next week for him, you're probably not going to, let's just put it this way. If he has a bad game, he doesn't score, he gives you like less than 10 points. People see how bad that they play against the Cowboys. Let's say the Cowboys beat him by a couple touchdowns. They see how bad Wilson looks. Nobody's going to want to trade you for that guy. And you're going to be upset with yourself that you have him on your team. I have him on my team. Yeah, I'm going to try to move him right now while his value is still kind of close to where we drafted him. His value is not going to be where we drafted him down the line if Wilson looks bad. Zach Wilson, that is. If Zach Wilson looks bad, the team's losing games. They're running the ball a ton because they don't have a quarterback, and so Wilson's kind of getting put on the back burner. You know what I mean? And so that's why I would tell you guys, you want to move Wilson, you have him on your team. Look, and I like Wilson. I think he can be an okay receiver, but he's not going to be that top 5 receiver that we thought he was going to be. It's just not going to happen, guys. He doesn't have the quarterback. The quarterback matters. The quarterback matters so much. You look at a lot of the good receivers in the league that are good fantasy-wise, and they're good. Guess what they all have in common? They all have quarterbacks. Chase, he's got Burrow. You look at some of the Charger receivers like Keenan Allen, he's got Herbert. I know people don't like Cousins, but Cousins is a good thrower of the football, and he's in an offense that throws the ball a lot. So JJ's good. Kelsey, you know, one of the best tight ends for the last 10 years. Why? Because he's always had a good quarterback for the most part. Smith was pretty good. Mahomes is all, you know, he's also, you know, had Mahomes. So you look at all these good receivers, good tight ends. They all have good quarterbacks. You look at somebody like Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts would be so good if he played for my Kansas City Chiefs, but he plays for a team that has probably a pretty bad quarterback. We don't really know how good or good he isn't. I don't think he's that good, and he plays in the offense that runs the ball a lot. So why is Pitts bad? Because he doesn't play for a team that has a high caliber quarterback. So that's just the way it rolls, man. A lot of these good receivers, like there's good receivers out there that are really, really good, like Drake London, right? And that's another Falcon guy. Didn't do anything this week. He got 1 target. He plays on a bad team, a bad passing team. If London was on a different team that passed the ball a ton, he would be really good in fantasy. But he's not. So that's just the way it is. So if you guys don't think quarterback matters, it does matter. Rodgers not being there matters. And we saw it last night. You seen it all last year with Zach Wilson and Mike White and Flacco. I think Flacco played a couple games for the Jets last year. Rodgers not being there is a big deal. Big deal. What wide receiver would you trade for Garrett Wilson? would you trade Garrett Wilson for? Like I'm trying to get like a Ridley, man. I'm trying to get Ridley, but you're probably gonna have to attach another player to it. You might have to do like a 2-for-2. You give away, let's say there's somebody. I'll show you guys because I have a trade right now proposed in one of my leagues. Let's say you have Wilson, right? And let's say you have a lot of depth at running back. Okay, let's say you have like 3 good running backs, maybe even 4. And let's say the owner has Calvin Ridley, like in my scenario. He has Ridley. He could probably use a running back as well, though. Let's say he's a little bit light at running back. I'm going to try to attach a running back with Wilson to get Ridley and then get maybe one of his players that maybe aren't quite as good, but maybe have potential, if that makes any sense. That's what I'm going to do. Because you're not going to be able to get Ridley for Wilson straight up, I don't think. Unless the guy is just brain dead, you know. Like if I was a Ridley owner and you were the Wilson owner and you tried to get my Ridley for your Wilson straight up, I wouldn't do it. So maybe there's some people out there that would do it. I think Ridley's an option. I think St. Brown is an option. St. Brown and Ridley, or St. Brown and Wilson kind of were drafted near each other. You could stoop for maybe a Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had a bad week. So like Jamar Chase buy low season is right now. If you want Jamar Chase buy low, it's right now. It's right now. So you might have to add another player on to it though to get Chase, and then maybe, you know, you might have to do a 2-for-2 swap. Is what I'm saying. And so here, let me give you guys my trades. So I have like 3 trades out there. But here's the big one though, right here. Like I'm trying to get Ridley and Javonte, and I'm gonna give him Wilson and Walker. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't know if I would do that or not. Of course, in this league, it's a little bit different, guys. This league is double points for out of position scoring. So, which doesn't really matter too much, you know. But here's the deal, like with this, and the reason why I would do this is like, look, I'll take the upgrade in Ridley, and I think it is an upgrade from Wilson to Ridley. Now that we know that Rodgers is out for the end of the, you know, the rest of the year. What you guys don't understand, and like I know you guys might jump the gun and be like, well, that's kind of a bad trade. I have Bijan and I have Stevenson on this team, and I have Pirine. So if I got Javonte to go with Pirine, I could handcuff that. I have Smith, Dotson. I would, like if I insert Ridley right here, I feel like I'm sitting pretty well. I need to take this off there. This is my Madden record from the other night. So like in this league, you know what I mean? I would be willing to maybe move off of Walker and Wilson to get Ridley and Javonte. I could handcuff Javonte with Pirine, and I feel like I'm upgrading my receiver from Wilson to Ridley. Some people might not feel the same way, okay? That's fine, but I feel that way. So another trade I got out there, this one's kind of this one's probably not going to go through. This guy doesn't really respond to trades. This is a 3-for-3, getting Kittle, Hill, and Brian Robinson for Walker, Wilson, and Sutton. That one probably won't go through. And then this one right here is the big one. David Montgomery, Chase. This is the one I'm kind of hoping for. David Montgomery, Chase, Wilson, and Walker. I don't feel like I'm losing much at the running back position. I know Walker is probably better in a lot of people's eyes than Montgomery. Montgomery's going to get opportunities to score touchdowns, though. And I feel like I'm really upgrading from Wilson to Chase. And, you know, I still have Ramondre and Bijan at running back as well. This is only 2 running backs. I don't start a third running back in this league because we don't have flex. We have 3 receivers, 2 running backs. So you cannot start 3 running backs in this league. So having Bijan, having Stevenson, and having Montgomery, I wouldn't mind having that, losing Walker, but I'm upgrading from Wilson to Chase. So this is the one really I hope that goes through. But I'm open to really all 3 of those, to be honest. Let's go back to our waiver wire page here. You think you could help me fine-tune my team on Twitter? I've only been watching football for 2 years and it's my first fan. Yeah, let me know, dude. Like, what do you gotta let me know, though. Thomas McNamara says buy low opportunities are out there. Yes, the buy low opportunities, I don't really have them on a page or anything. I can just rattle them off for you guys. It's Chase, it's Mixon, Walker even. Walker, I mean, it's funny too because I own both of those guys. Now, I'm not going to give them to you for low, but there's other people out there who probably would. So yeah, Chase, Walker, Mixon. Let me think who else off the top of my head here. Even really like some of the Philly receivers potentially. The Philly receivers didn't really play too bad, or really too good, I should say. Like Brown, maybe Smith. Smith fell in the end zone, so he had a decent game. But like Saquon, this guy who was in the chat here that got Saquon. This guy stole Saquon. Where's it at here? Let me find the message. Let me find it. Where the heck is this guy's message at? Oh, here it is, right here. Wait, that's not it, is it? I don't know why I can't find this. I'll find it eventually. So yeah, Saquon's another guy that you can buy low on. Started following. My ad is at BB I speak. Okay, I got you, man. Kelly's the biggest ad in my opinion. Eckler might not be doing. Yeah, I think Kelly he's up there. I think I would place Algier above him. Kelly is like my 2 or 3 at the running back spot. It's tough between him and Roshan. It really just depends your situation. If you're Eckler, if you're an Eckler owner, Kelly is obviously priority number 1. Even if you're not an Eckler owner and you're good at running back, let's say you're good at running back, but you want to maybe snag him, use him as trade bait, whatever, hold on to him. I would probably take Kelly over Algier in that situation as well, or Roshan. I mean, Roshan's a guy who's kind of a guy you could wait on. He's going to be a guy you're going to have to probably wait on. But Roshan, like I said, the difference between Roshan and like Kelly and Warren and Bigsby, and I would even throw Kyron in there as well, is that Roshan, you don't have to wait for somebody to get injured. I think he could take that job immediately at any point in time, either this week, week 3, week 4, week 5. He's already playing the third down role. He's already playing really the receiving back role as well. So if you're in full PPR, that helps, a little more than say somebody like Algier, who's probably not going to catch a whole lot of balls because he's got Bijan there, So, but Kelly's a guy I like as well. Kelly is a league winner if something happens to Eckler. League winner. And the same thing with Warren. Warren should be drafted in most of you guys' drafts, but it says it's like 53% that he's out there. He's also a league winner if something happens to Najee. Spears is another guy I wouldn't really sleep on. The problem with Spears is he plays for a bad team in the Titans, in my opinion. He plays for a little bit of a bad offense. The good thing about Kelly is he's on a good offense that's going to score, that's going to live in the red zone. That's why Kelly has a little bit higher ceiling, I think, than some of these guys, like maybe like a Roshan, like a Kyron, like a Spears. Those guys don't play for good offenses. So, let me get to your other questions here. I have JJ, St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Gabe Davis, Dotson, and Zay Flowers. Want to trade Garrett Wilson away, or should I? Yeah, dude. I mean, how many receiver spots are you starting? And how many flex spots do you have? Like, you have JJ and St. Brown, and you got Dotson and Flowers. Gabe Davis is kind of, whatever. Go trade. If you need running back, or if you need a tight end, or if you need a quarterback, go flip Garrett Wilson. Go do it. What do you got to lose? Right now, you have the best value in him right now to trade him, whereas next week, I don't think you're going to have that. So go get a Gibbs for him. Go get a good running back that's a second or third rounder. Maybe try to buy Saquon low for him. You know what I mean? there might be somebody out there who might give you their Saquon for him. Maybe you give Garrett Wilson and like you know, a 7th or 8th rounder, you know, to you know, add it on there and get a Saquon. Saquon's gonna punish the Cardinals this week. I'm letting you guys know that right now. He's gonna punish them. I guarantee you Brian Daboll has got that Giants team fired up for this week. So the Giants are gonna come out pissed off, and they're gonna take it out on the Cardinals this week in Arizona. Book it. So you think I lost a Josh Allen trade? No, I don't think you lost it. I just feel like you could have got more for it, but it could pay off. I'm not super, I mean, I know I own Mixon. I'm not super high. Look, I'm a Mixon owner and I'm trying to move Mixon, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until he has a good game. There's not really much value out there right now to try to move somebody like Mixon whenever he came off the game that he did. Look, a lot of fantasy managers, a lot of fantasy owners, right? Whatever you want to call them, they have short-term memory. They only remember what happened the past week. You could try to say, man, I really like, or, you know, like, you could, like if you were a Jamar Chase owner, you could be like, man, I'm trying to move Jamar Chase. Let's say you're trying to move Chase. I don't know why you would, but let's just say you were trying to. You would be hard-pressed to get, like, a lot, really what you were kind of owed for selling off of a Jamar Chase. The reason why is because he had a bad game. The reason why, you know, it doesn't matter how good he was last year or how many points per game he averages and stuff like that. He's healthy. He's not dealing with an injury. Higgins had a goose egg, so that's even more reason to kind of be more optimistic about Chase. You could try to sell all of that stuff to the dumbest person in your league. At the end of the day, though, they're going to look at the box score and they're going to be like, that guy sucks, you know, that guy's terrible. You know, maybe I'll give you like a 3rd or a 4th round for him, but I'm not giving you like the, you know, the equivalent of a 1st round pick, even though you drafted him in the 1st round. That's how fantasy managers are, bro. They have short-term memories. They don't care about how good the guy was, you know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever. They look at last week, the most recent week, and if the guy had a bad game, oh, that guy sucks. That's why there's buy low opportunities. That's why you can maybe go get a Saquon. Maybe you can go get Chase. Look, yeah, you're taking a little bit of risk, but it's not really that much risk. You know, it depends on the player and the situation. I don't think there's really any risk involved in going to get Chase for like a Garrett Wilson and maybe like a bad running back. You know what I mean? Like if you take your Garrett Wilson and maybe a bad running back or another bad receiver that's like a 7th rounder, 8th rounder, let's say like Elijah Moore or something like that. There's somebody out there who might take Garrett Wilson and like an Elijah Moore for Chase. You know what I mean? There's probably people out there that would do something like that. You may not even have to attach Elijah Moore on there depending on who the person is. You kind of got to weasel your way in and out and, you know, play the game. Yeah, Wilson for Barkley. Yes. I appreciate it, Thomas. I appreciate it, man. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. We've been live for a little more than an hour. I'll answer any questions you guys have. I've made a lot of trades in my day. I traded, dude, I didn't draft Breece Hall last year, and I got Breece Hall for Mike Williams straight up last year in like week 4 or week 3 or whatever. I mean, it was in my auction league. It was in the league where really I got a lot of guys who know what they're doing. Would you trade Drake London for Puka? That's an interesting question. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. It's close though. I don't know, man. I would say it's kind of weird how we're debating this, that it's close. And I wouldn't say it's close. London is a better receiver, like hands down. The problem is the situations are a little bit different between the two players, obviously. I would say no, though. I wouldn't do that. I would keep London. London's another guy that you can go buy low on. That's what this guy's trying to do to you. He's trying to buy low on him, which I don't blame him. I think London's going to come back, have a bounce back week this week for the most part. We'll see how much of a bounce back it is. I think they got Green Bay this week, right? So he's gonna have Jair Alexander on him, but I would say no, man, no. I would say this. I would say try to go get Puka, but not for him. It's got to be a different player. I mean, I know Puka had a good week, but this guy's on the waiver wire, bro, in 92% of leagues on Yahoo. And he's on waiver wire in both of my leagues. So, and I have guys who know what they're doing. So, no, I'm not trading London for him, dude. I'll trade like a 10 for 11 for a 12th round pick for him, but not a 5th or 6th round pick for him. No, I'm not doing that. I have Shaheed, Penny, and Dobbins, so I need production. See, this... I feel bad for you, Cool Hands. It sucks, dude, that Dobbins got hurt. And Dobbins really looked pretty good until he got hurt, obviously. I would say, see, this is like Cool Hands. If for any of you other guys out there who are listening to this, Cool Hands would be like a manager, like say he was in your league that you could take advantage of, because he's desperate because he's got Dobbins. A lot of so like the Dobbins owners out there. Let's say you have a Dobbins owner who's desperate for a running back. Let's say he just lost Dobbins, and really he doesn't have a whole lot of guys behind Dobbins at the running back spot. If you are like a Connor, if you have James Conner owner, if you have even like a Swift, you might even be able to like maybe kind of push Swift towards that kind of person who owns Dobbins. But Connor would be the perfect example. Trade Connor to the Dobbins owner and get something off of him, like a receiver or something if you need a receiver. Now in your hands, or in your situation, Cool Hands, I would say you need to pick one of these guys up off the waiver wire. Algier would be the first selection, especially if he's out there. I don't know if he's out there in your league. I would try to get Kelly. I would try to get Warren. I would try to get like 2 of these guys, really, if I'm you, because Penny and Dobbins are going to be... Dobbins is already gone. Penny's going to be a bust. That's the reason why I wasn't drafting that guy, but really I wouldn't draft in that guy because I'm not drafting the backfield of Philly. Philly's backfield it's a complete stay away. I know a lot of people are talking about Gainwell, and I don't have Gainwell on here. I apologize, but a lot of people are talking of going to get Gainwell this week. I think he's an okay ad if you miss out on some of these other guys up here, like within my top 5, but I'm avoiding Philly's backfield, dude. I've already been avoiding it, and I would invite you guys to avoid it this year as well. It's not going to be good, dude. We don't know what's going to go on week to week. Penny was a healthy scratch. Swift didn't get any. I think he got like 1 carry. I mean, he got no work. They have a running quarterback in Jalen Hurts. I'm staying away from Philly. If I am a Gainwell owner, I am trading him right now. I'm trading him right now, bro. I'm trading Gainwell right now if I have him. And I'm trying to get everything I can for him. So, that's zero haunts me. Thanks, big dog. Yeah, dude. You need to go get somebody, or you need to trade for somebody. I hope you have a lot of depth at receiver, bro. If you don't, you're in trouble this year, man. Because you're not going to have any, like, assets to kind of move around. You know what I mean? You got to have assets. Like, there's a reason why, like, in this league, and I know I'm a little bit like light at receiver in this league, but I'm obviously not too bad. Let me go here. Let me go to my team. So like I'm a little bit light at receiver here, but there's a reason why I got all of these. Here, let me go back to week 1. There's a reason why I have all these running backs on my team, and I bidded on them. Like I got Chubb for $50. So like this is why I like auction. You can just go bid on whoever you want and go get whoever you want. You don't have to wait for guys to fall to you and redraft. I'm still in a redraft league in one of my other leagues, but this is auction. There's a reason why I got Chubb, I got Mixon, I got Kenneth Walker, and I got Breece Hall at running back, bro. Because I can move one of these guys eventually, and I'm going to. I'm probably not going to move off of Breece, obviously. I wanted Breece for a reason. And really, Breece was the last guy that I drafted. I had all these other 3 guys on my roster before I had Breece. I went and got Breece at the end of the draft, and got him for what, $34 for a reason. And I know I only have Olave and Smith at receiver. I'm a little light at receiver. I got Reed, Mingo. I'm going to try to pick up Puka Nacua. I do have Zay Jones on the bench who did pretty well. But there's a reason why I have all these assets at running back, because I'm going to be able to move them for a pretty penny once they have a good week. I think Mixon maybe bounces back this week. I think Chubb's going to be big time this week. Really, I'm hoping. And really Walker, I think Walker could have a pretty good week against Detroit too. Detroit doesn't really have the best rushing defense. So Walker, good chance that Walker does not get game scripted out of this week, and he has a big game. And I would be open to moving probably Walker or Mixon. I'm probably going to hang on to Chubb and Brees, obviously, no matter what, unless something happens. But you got to have assets, man. It's okay to have, you know, four good running backs like I do. It's okay to maybe be a little bit light at receiver. If you hit on these two receivers right here that I have, you know, for the most part, I feel like I have so far. It's only been 1 week. But if you hit on, you know, maybe your positions that you're light at, you can just boost that now if you got a ton of talent at like running back like I do. So if you have a ton of talent at receiver, then it's okay that maybe you're a little bit, you know, down on running back. Maybe you move one of those receivers now or next week or whenever they have good games, and you go build up your running back position. You also need to probably pick up a guy off the waiver wire. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the way it goes. There's always like 1 or 2 league winners that are in the waiver wire every single year. Last year it was Kenneth Walker. The year before that it was Elijah Mitchell. This year it could have, you know, it could be a receiver. It could be a running back. It's usually running backs because running backs get hurt the most. So it's usually like a running back. If there was one that's at the receiver position, it is Zay Flowers. But Zay Flowers is owned in like most leagues. He's owned in like probably 75-80% leagues. It says 29% here. This is for Yahoo leagues. So, but like an ESPN sleeper, it's probably owned in like 80% of leagues or more. 14-man league with 7 guys on the bench. Best available is Hill. Yikes. Is that Tyreek Hill, or that's not Tyreek Hill? Which Hill is that? Taysom Hill? You don't have Tyreek Hill on the bench, bro, right? There's no way. Wilson for David Montgomery. Nah or yay. You got to get more, bro. You got to get more than Montgomery, bro. Montgomery's a 7th round pick. You're talking about a 2nd round pick for a 7th round pick. No. There's no way I'm doing that. There's no way, bro. Flowers for Monty. Have Etienne and Brees. Punch it. Punch it, Randy. Do that all freaking day. If you have Etienne and Brees, you can move Monty and pick up Zay. Remember, Zay and Monty kind of go in the same range as far as redraft goes. They're both like 7th, 8th round picks. Yeah. Justice Hill for the Raven. Oh, Justice Hill. Okay. Dude, Ravens is another backfield. Like the Ravens and the Eagles backfield, I am avoiding completely. Sell Justice Hill. Sell him. Sell him to somebody who believes in him, bro. They're bringing in Melvin Gordon. They might even go get like a Kareem Hunt or somebody like that, but they're bringing Melvin Gordon in off the practice squad. They have Lamar Jackson, who's going to probably start running a little more and start using his legs on, you know, unscripted runs. I don't want anything to do with either of those backfields, especially the Ravens now. If you have Justice Hill, I would try to flip him for whatever you can get, bro, at running back. Try to go get a Warren. Try to go get a Algier, maybe. I don't know who would do that, but you never know, man. Somebody might. Somebody might be worried about. Look, you're not going to be able to get like a Montgomery or better, I don't think, for Hill. If you could, Montgomery would be kind of the guy I'm looking for. Maybe you go get Kamara. Kamara is only going to miss 2 more games, and then he'll be on the field. You're not going to be able to get somebody that's like 6th round value or better for Hill. Really, you shouldn't even get somebody that's like 8th round value or better for Hill. But I would maybe stoop for Monty. I would maybe stoop for, you know, Kamara, the Kamara owner. Maybe the Kamara owner needs a running back and he's going to be missing Kamara. I know it's going to suck for 2 weeks. Obviously, you're going to be missing 2 weeks of productivity from your running back position, but I don't want anything to do with the Ravens backfield or the Eagles. I'm out. I was never in to begin with, but if I'm one of you guys, I'm out. The Ravens are not gonna, you don't know which running back it's gonna be from week to week, and Lamar Jackson, I think, is gonna start using his legs a little bit more than what he did last week. You're gonna see a lot more runs, you know, unscripted runs out of the shotgun. You know, I don't know. Zay Flowers is involved in the run game a little bit as well. He's also involved, obviously, in the passing game. There's no way, man. It's a roulette that you're not going to be able to win from week to week. So when it goes, since I tried trading for Debo using Garrett Wilson, or should you try trading Debo for Garrett Wilson? I don't know, man. That's rough. I feel like you could get more. Debo's kind of the guy that's like, I want Ridley, I want St. Brown, I want if you're going after Debo, you should be able to get something else to go with Debo. I feel like it may not be much, but you should be able to get something else. I know Debo didn't do so well this week, and Ayuk had the game, you know. Debo did okay. 5 of 7, 55 yards. Could do it, and I'm not going to say you could not win that trade. You could definitely win that trade, and Debo is in a better scenario than Wilson as far as the quarterback play and as far as how good the offense is. I would take Purdy over Wilson, Zach Wilson, all day. I think he's a better quarterback. He's in a better system with a better play caller that, you know, that work together to make that system what it is. And he's got really more weapons, and McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. So the problem with Debo's scenario is that he's got a lot of competition. Wilson really doesn't, but he also has bad quarterback play now, and it's going to be much of the same as last year. If you can, look, put it this way, if you can deal with Garrett Wilson performing very similar, maybe even a little bit worse than what he performed last year, then stay on Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, if you think that's a better scenario for you versus going after Debo, then stay on that. Now, I think St. Brown and Ridley are better scenarios, and I think they will perform better. So, like, if it was straight up, or even if I had to include maybe a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick to go with that, I would punch it. Especially if you had depth at the, you know, the other position that you're giving away as well. I'd be giving up Zay for Monty. I don't really like the Brees matchup this week. Brees is gonna, yeah, it's a tough matchup this week. I don't know if I'm gonna roll with him, to be honest. But the difference between me and you is I have options. I have Mixon, Walker, and I have Chubb. So I have like different. I have more options than you do. So I don't know if I'm gonna start him either. If I'm in your position though, if I don't have the options that I have, like you, maybe I'm starting him. You have to start him. Barkley could run against that defense a little bit, okay? Like, let's not get it twisted. Barkley was able to run against the defense. They just abandoned the run because they were behind by so much. He got game scripted out. The defense for the Cowboys is really good when they can pin their ears back and just go after the quarterback, which could be much of the same this week. I'm not saying that's not going to be the case, but I do think early and often, the way that the Jets win this game against the Cowboys, which they're not going to win, but the way that they would win or even keep it close, which if they keep it close, that does matter because Brees and Cook will still be involved. They have to run the damn ball. They have to just use the two-headed monster, run the ball, get 8-9 guys to block every play, or like, you know, for 80% of the plays. That's how they're going to keep the game close and maybe beat the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to beat them, but let's go here. Barkley ran 12 times for 51 yards, a little more than, like 4.25 yards per carry. 3 catches. Look, Barkley got game scripted out, bro. He got game scripted out. And that's really all it was. Barkley really didn't have a bad game. He just got game scripted out, just like Walker did, just like Joe Mixon did. played 31% of the snaps. I was curious to see how many snaps he played. 31%. That's not bad. I expect this to be about 40, 45 maybe this week. I would say about 40. 10 touches there. And then two opportunities in the passing game. Barkley had 12. So Barkley had 16 opportunities. Brees on limited action had 12 opportunities. Cashed in on obviously 11 of those. Look, dude, Brees is efficient, man. He's efficient, and at any point in time, he can bust one. Okay, he can bust one. And if you don't have options at running back like I do, I would say you have to start him. I know it's a tough matchup, but there's a good chance he gets you like 10, and there's a chance that he falls in the end zone as well. And then there's also a chance that he busts like a 60-yard run as well. All he needs is a little bit of an opening, dude. And I do think the Jets' run blocking is better than their pass blocking. They're much better at run blocking than they are pass blocking. So play him, dude. Yeah, play him if you don't have any other options. Play him. It's fine that you got Zay. Put Zay in at your flex. Start 2 running backs. And just go from there, man. I have Dotson, Zay Jones, Elijah Moore as my would-be flex. Those are your 3 top receivers, Randy? Zay Jones, Dotson, Elijah Moore? No way, bro. You gotta have better receivers than that. Or are those just the 3 guys competing for your flex? If those are the 3 guys competing for your flex, give me... One second. God, Cat, you're killing me. You're killing me, Cat. Gosh, she did not bury that, bro. She didn't bury it. All right, so you're looking between those 3 guys at your flex. Give me... Oh, man. I really want to roll the dice with Dotson again. So the Browns play Monday night at the Steelers. The Steelers secondary kind of got torched a little bit. They kind of got exposed, to be honest. Peterson did not play good. I don't know how the rookie played. I don't know how much the rookie played. I don't know how much what's his face played. The guy from Penn State. Zay Jones has got the Chiefs this weekend. My Chiefs at home. I think that's going to be a shootout. I think the Jet. What's over under that 51? I think that's going to be a shootout. Give me Zay Jones, bro. Give me Zay Jones this week. It's close between him and Dotson. Washington's got who the hell does Washington play this week? They played the Broncos. The Broncos have a good secondary. I think Surtain's going to be on McLaurin. If you have McLaurin, don't start McLaurin this week. He's going to be on my sit list, obviously. We'll go over that, you know, maybe tomorrow or something like that. But give me Zay Jones, dude. I mean, I'm a Chiefs fan, but our secondary's not the greatest. Snead's going to be on Ridley. Snead's not really a lockdown corner. He's our best corner, but so that means Zay Jones is going to get McDuffie more often than not. I think that is probably the highest total. It was 51. The Browns game is 39.5. The Washington game is 38. Give me Zay Jones. Give me the higher total. Zay Jones is playing 2 receiver sets. He's got a good quarterback on a good offense. My defense isn't really that great. Our Chiefs defense isn't really that great. Give me Zay Jones at the flex this week. Punch it. Tua and Montgomery for Burrow. You're getting Burrow, or are you getting Tua and Montgomery? Let me know which side you're on. I'm taking the Tua Montgomery side. I think it really just depends, though. It depends on your lineup. It depends on what you need. If you need a running back, like if you really needed a running back, would I do it? If I had the Burrow side, maybe. I would have to see, man. You might want to wait until waivers clear too if you're trying to get like a running back off of waivers. Thomas, give me another message and let me know which side you would be getting and which side like which side are you on here? Like, Are you giving away your Burrow, or are you giving away your Tua and Montgomery? You have the Tua Monty side. Okay, so if you have the Tua Monty side, are you good at running back? If you're good at running back and you can afford to lose Montgomery, I would do it. But if you don't, I would not do it. Let's just put it that way. Like, if you can afford to lose Monty and you're solid at running back, Brees, Gibbs, Kamara, so you're losing your handcuff, but you're getting Kamara. And I know Tua had a good game, bro. I know a lot of people go, what? You give away Tua after that performance? I would for Burrow, because Burrow is a higher drafted player. He is a better quarterback. Let's not get it twisted. I know he had a bad game. I would do it. I would punch it then. You're good at running back as long as, I guess, the guy doesn't get hurt. If, you know, knock on wood about Brees and Gibbs and Kamara. Let's knock on wood. I would do it, bro. I would do it. Because if Burrow has a good week this week, which I think he's got the Ravens. The Ravens secondary is a little suspect, though. They're not very good. They're good at getting to the pass, the pass rush for the Ravens. They're good at pass rush. They're good at kind of stopping the run. Their secondary is not that good. The reason why their secondary, you didn't really know how good they were, is because they played Houston. Once they got Chase, though, and Higgins to deal with, Higgins is going to come out motivated to play better. That whole offense is going to come out motivated to play better. They're going to, I think they're going to torch the Ravens, if I'm being honest. Burrow, I think, always torches the Ravens, too. Yeah, I would do it, because this might be your only chance to kind of buy low on Burrow, if I'm being honest. Sorry, you need my whole team for this context, brother. One moment. Yeah, I don't mean to be a nuisance about like getting your guys' whole team. I just want to know everything. That way I don't steer you guys the wrong way, you know, because it really just depends, man. There's certain trades out there that I would and would not take depending on who you have, like the rest of your lineup, you know what I mean? And that does matter, because if you have depth at one position or something, I'd be like, okay, you can afford to maybe move that guy and pick up a receiver or whatever, you know. Dotson and David Montgomery for Cup. Who wins? I think the Dotson-Montgomery side wins, because I am a believer that Cup is going to miss more than 4 games. But we'll see. I could be wrong on that. I could eat that. I mean, Cup could come back week 5 and just sail from week 5 to week 18 and be fine and finish as a top 10 receiver. But I'm betting against the injury that he already re-aggravated. Look, this 4 weeks, I'm telling you guys right now, man, I don't want to go on another rant here. But the 4 weeks is not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. I'm telling you guys right now. I would bet that it's not enough. He just had 4 weeks off. He got injured August 31st, and then he came back. He came back September 1st or whatever it was, the day that he re-aggravated it in practice. He had a whole 4.5 weeks off. And he just re-aggravated it. He re-injured it. Same thing. So he's got 4 weeks off now. He went and seen a specialist. He was looking for a specialist in Minnesota. He's got 4 weeks off right now. Who's to say he doesn't come back week 5 and re-aggravate it again? Or maybe there's a compensation injury. He ends up spraining his ankle again because of the way he's moving. He's not moving fluidly the way that he should be moving off of that leg, because he's worried about re-aggravating a hamstring pull. He had the tightrope ankle surgery on that same leg that he has the hamstring pull. I'm betting against the injury, bro. I'm betting against it. He's 30 years old. He's really not as good as what people think he is. I think he's good. I think he's a good player, but he's not. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame player. I really don't. He's had 2 seasons over 1,000 yards receiving. 2 seasons. He's not a Hall of Fame player. I don't think, at least. I don't know if that Triple Crown season would qualify him as. I mean, it probably will, because everybody gets in the Hall of Fame in the NFL. So I guess he probably is a Hall of Fame player. But I would say, I wouldn't think he is, to be honest. But he'll probably get in. He's got a Super Bowl and he had a Triple Crown, so they'll probably put him in. I mean, we'll have to see. I guess he still has more time left in the. He is 30 though, and 30 years old with hamstring issues is not a good sign if you're a receiver. So, would you drop McKinnon for Algier, Kelly, or Roshan, or keep McKinnon? I would drop McKinnon. Yeah, give me either one of those guys. I'm gonna let it. It's up to you who you want. Roshan's going to be the best guy for PPR if it's full PPR. Kelly and Algier, I would say Kelly would be number 2 in full PPR. Algier would be number 3. Algier's not going to catch very many passes at all this year unless Bijan goes down, really. I know he caught 2 on Sunday, but Bijan had 6 catches on 6 targets, dude. Bijan's going to get like 4 or 5 targets a game. Easy. You might even get a little bit more than that every other week, but if it's full PPR, give me Roshan first. If it's like half PPR, Roshan would be 3rd on the list. I would want Kelly and Algier probably over him. It's close though. Algier would definitely be number 1, especially if you got Bijan. Kelly is number 1 if you have Eckler on your team. You need the handcuff, especially with him dealing with an injury right now. Small ankle sprain. So, okay, so I have T-Law, ETN, Brees, St. Brown, AJ Brown, Goddard, Flexes, Dawson, Zay Flowers, Moore, and Zay Jones. Okay, and so what was the question? I traded Zay Flowers for Monty. Wait, bro, you traded Zay Flowers for Montgomery? I thought you were trading Montgomery for Zay Flowers. What happened? Wait, what? Oh, you said I'd be giving up Zay for Monty. I thought it was Zay Jones, I think I was telling you Zay Jones. Oh man. Oh well. Bro, I think I misunderstood your question. I misunderstood your question, bro. So you said if I traded Zay Flowers, do not trade Zay Flowers for Monty. Don't do that. Don't do that. Try to move like Elijah Moore or Zay Jones first, or even I wouldn't say Dotson, but don't trade Zay Jones for Monty. I know you said if. I'm so glad you said if. I thought you actually did already. Oh my! Don't do that. No. Zay Flowers. Let me clarify this. Zay Flowers is a win a league player. Win a league player. Okay. Don't do that. I know you're pretty deep at receiver. It looks like you have ETN. You would have ETN, Brees, and Monty. Who do you have behind ETN and Brees? Who's your 3rd running back? Please tell me you got another running back, right? Should I put in a waiver claim for Kenneth Gainwell over Swift or AJ Dillon? Go get AJ Dillon over both of those guys. I know people like Kenneth Gainwell a little bit. Gainwell's okay. I would give me Dillon over Gainwell, if I'm being honest. Give me AJ Dillon over Kenneth Gainwell. Like I said, I don't want anything to do with the Eagles or the Ravens backfield. There's just too much uncertainty right now. Too much uncertainty right now. Don't do it. You said, Andrews has to come back at some point, brother. True, but I think there's a decent chance that we lose. The Ravens lose Odell or Bateman. Really, Odell would be the top of my list. I think there's a chance that the Ravens lose Odell. Flowers, and look, Flowers is better than Odell and Bateman. I'm gonna say it out loud. I know some people may not say that out loud. He's better than both of those guys, and I think the coaching staff and the organization knows that. So and really, Odell's old. Odell's torn his ACL a couple of times already. He's old. He's old. He's going to go down at some point, I think. That's the reason why I did not draft Odell at all, especially where he was being drafted early on. Zay will fill in for him eventually, and really, he may not even need an injury. They might just start, they probably won't play him over him much because they are paying Odell a lot of money. But really, you can see Zay Flowers even, like, if he's playing really, really good, he keeps playing good, you might see him you know, play more snaps over Bateman. And here's another thing. They're in Todd Monken's system where they're going to be, and you guys seen it on Sunday. They were spreading, like they were running shotgun spread, basically. Like you've seen 3 and 4 receiver sets out there on the field. So it doesn't even matter if Andrews comes back. Yeah, Andrews is going to take away some targets, but they're going to get the ball in Flowers' hands. He may not get you 10 targets every week. Probably going to come down to like 6 or 7, maybe 5 every so often. But when an injury occurs, and an injury will occur, I really believe that. I think there's a strong chance that like another injury occurs on that offense, whether it's Odell or even maybe if it's Andrews. So like if Andrews' injury prolongs. And look, Lamar likes Flowers. He likes him. And he's going to get him the ball. Really, they're going to be forced to give him the ball because he's just so good. How can you not get the ball in his hands? So I don't really care if Andrews comes back, if I'm being honest. Nobody at running back. Tajay, Chuba, Tank, basically all handcuffs. I know, dude, but I'm not trading Zay Flowers for Montgomery. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it. It's a split backfield. Gibbs is going to get more work this week, and really, as the weeks keep progressing, Gibbs is going to get more and more touches. So it's going to take a little bit away from Montgomery. I know Montgomery's a good back behind a good offensive line. He's not really good though if you need PPR points. That's why Gibbs is there. But and I get it, you don't have much depth at running back. I like Tajay a lot. I really like Chuba and Tank. Those guys are all good guys to hang on to if an injury occurs. Chuba would probably be the first guy to get rid of. I'm liking Tajay right now because he's behind a running back in Henry who's old. And Henry could go down at any point. And Tajay is very efficient. Very, very efficient right now. He was efficient in the preseason, and he's efficient this week too. Also, if you had to start 2 of Javonte Williams, Alexander Madison, or Garrett Wilson, what would you do? I'm leaning towards Williams and Wilson, but I'm not sure. Let me look here. Javonte played 45% of the snaps, which is about what I thought it would be. 45, 55, 50, 50. Pretty much what I said it would be. You have to start Garrett Wilson, bro. I would be trying to trade Garrett Wilson right now. Before Thursday, you have to try to trade him, I think. Try to get a good running back for him. Try to go get Gibbs. Try to go get ETN, I guess, if you wanted ETN. Try to go get Barkley, dude. Try to go get Barkley. Barkley's like the best. Barkley's one of the best buy low candidates out there. And even if you had to attach like Wilson and maybe another running back that's like on your bench that's not the greatest, but is maybe potentially a good handcuff, I would do it. For this week, though, you would have to start Wilson, and you would have to start probably Javonte. It's close, though. So I just ride the squad for this week. T-Law, ETN, Brees, St. Brown, AJ Brown, Goddard, Zay Flowers. Yeah, you could try to move one of your other receivers, though, Randy. You could try to move Dotson. I wouldn't be against moving Dotson. I wish he would have had a better week, though. You could try to move Zay Jones for somebody. See if you could do Dotson for Monty. Maybe he'll do that. Those guys were drafted pretty close together, so it wouldn't be like a trade that's like super far-fetched. You know what I mean? It's not. It could be a fair trade for the most part. Obviously, Montgomery had a little bit better of a week. And I think Monty could have another good week this week because he's got the crappy Seahawks that can't stop the run. So, I mean, he could have a decent week this week too. I would try to maybe move Dotson. I'm not trading Zay Flowers, dude. I'm just not. There's just too much upside, man. He's in a better offense than Dotson is, I think. I do like Dotson. Let's not get it twisted. It's not that I don't like Dotson. I would try to get rid of maybe Moore or Jones though first, Randy. Like I would try to like push maybe both of those guys into a trade to get Monty. Send him Zay Jones and whichever Moore that is. I'm assuming it's Elijah or Sky. If it's Sky Moore, throw him out there too. If you can't get Monty, then get try to go get Pierce. Go buy low on Pierce. Go buy Pierce low. Pierce has what, the Colts in town this week? Right? Yeah, he's got the Colts in town. Go get Pierce. Go buy low on Pierce. Move Zay Jones or more for Pierce. I wouldn't move Dotson or Zay Flowers for him, but I would move one of those other two guys for him. Move Zay Jones and one of your other running backs for Pierce. I don't have a backup QB. Should I drop McKinnon for Love or pick up another running back on waivers? If you need a running back, pick up a running back. If you don't, pick up Love. Yeah, pick Love up if you can afford to lose McKinnon and drop him to go get Love, and you don't really need another running back because let's say you got, you think you're good there, then yeah, go get Love. Love is because you got to think, go get Love if somebody wants a quarterback. Especially if you're in like a 12 or a 14 team league, if they need a quarterback, you just take Love and trade him for a better running back that you would probably get off waivers. You know what I mean? So you could just go get Love and then flip him if you really need another running back. You know what I mean? Because he's trade bait right now. So I wouldn't say he's trade bait, but he's a trade asset. Would you start Zay Flowers or Puka? Flowers. Puka's got the Niners in town, bro. I know people love Puka, and there's gonna be a lot of people bidding on Puka tonight, and the waivers are gonna go through at like 2 o'clock in the morning for most leagues. And I do like Puka, don't get me wrong, but if it comes to starting a guy over another guy, or which one am I starting between the two, I'm starting Flowers. Flowers is on better offense that has a better matchup. I know matchups aren't everything, but did you guys see what the Steelers receivers did last week? They didn't do much. If you didn't see what they did last week, you weren't missing anything. Let's just put it that way. They didn't really do much. So they were getting strapped. That's what happened. Alrighty. I think I'm gonna jump off here, guys. Let's go back to the waiver wire page real quick. We'll wrap this up. These are the guys that are out there. This isn't really in a particular rank. Kincaid is a must. Love, especially if you need a quarterback, is a must. You can also go get him if you have a quarterback, and you can trade him away. You can use him as a trade asset. Purdy would be another guy I would go get. This kind of sucks for me because I want to go get Purdy like in my one league, but I have Trevor Lawrence and they're both on the same bye week. And so like if I went and got Purdy, it wouldn't really be any good use to me because I'm not going to start him over T-Law, and they both have the same bye week, so he's not even going to fill in for me. But if you don't have like Trevor Lawrence or somebody like that, go get Purdy. You could use him as trade bait. You could go trade him away to somebody who needs a quarterback maybe. Somebody who regrets drafting Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a guy I would look out for on the waivers. There's a lot of people dropping Daniel Jones, and I think it's a little bit soon for people to be doing it. But there's going to be a bunch of panic Peters, overreacting Oscars out there that are dropping Daniel Jones right away, and you could just snag him. Like, especially if you're in Fab, you probably won't even need to bid on him. You could just bid $0 and pick him up after tonight, probably. So there's a lot of people dropping Daniel Jones after what had happened. And really, I think Jones is better than that. I think people are overreacting a little bit. He played against a really good defense in a monsoon and they had 2 defensive touchdowns. They spotted them 2 defensive touchdowns. One of them was Jones's fault, but the other one was just it was a punt that, or a blocked field goal that got taken back for a touchdown. So they were already kind of behind the 8 ball. If you guys watch that game again, the very first drive, the Giants were moving the ball down the field, man. I don't know what happened after that. Jones got shook up, man, or something. I don't know. Plus, he was running for his life pretty much the whole game. He didn't have much time to throw. This is going to be different, dude, against the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to get an angry Giants team coming after them, on Sunday. So, Flowers, go get if he's out there. Roschon, I would go get as well. I would definitely go get Kelly if I'm an Eckler owner. Even if I'm not an Eckler owner, I would still consider Kelly. Algier is a must go get, I think, if you need a running back. If you're somebody who lost Dobbins, go get Algier. Go get Roschon. Go get Kelly. Those would be my top 3 guys to go get if I'm a Dobbins owner. And you're going to have to probably spend some money if it's fab dollars. Nakua, Dobbs are good pickups after Flowers isn't really out there much, but if he is, obviously snag him. Spend all your money on him if you have to. Dobbs, Zay Jones, and Nakua would be my next 3 after that for sure. I like Nakua a little bit. I really like Dobbs probably more so, especially if Watson keeps missing time. So, and then at tight end, Kincaid is a must go get, obviously. I don't mind Musgrave. Go get Musgrave. Really, I should have Musgrave, I think, above Laporta and Hurst, if I'm being honest. Go get Musgrave as well. Henry, he's out there too. I know he's tight end 1 right now, but I think that's going to change here in the coming weeks. Musgrave I would take over Henry, if I'm being totally honest. I know people might think that's crazy, but I'm not going off of last week, bro. I'm going off of the future and what I think is bound to happen. I think Musgrave is going to be a guy to look out for. And he's available in 81% of leagues on Yahoo, and that should not be the case. I would have him right now in my auction league if somebody didn't draft him. Somebody drafted him in my league. So, yeah. So, Spears is another guy I would consider. Like I said, I think Kyron is fool's gold. Bigsby should be owned. If he's not, I would maybe go snag him too. You shouldn't have to pay too much for him. Gus, A-Chain, Tucker, Hunt, Ford. I'm not really as high on these guys. They're worth a dart throw, maybe. You're not going to have to spend much money on them. And if you do, like let's say it's a blind bid and you spend $1 or $2 on them and somebody outbids you, then so be it. You know what I mean? That's the way I would look at it. I still like some of these guys down here like Shaheed, Myers. I know Myers is in concussion protocol. I don't know if he's out today or not. We'll have to check on that later this week. Mims is worth a dart throw too. I think Dell is a guy you might be able to go get for free if he's out there. You might not even have to bid on this guy or even use a first priority, waiver on him. I would stash away Dell, especially if it's a deeper league. If you have a lot of bench spots or something like that. And same thing with Nico Collins though too. Collins on the same team. He's not available as much. Tutu Atwell. It's a dart throw, but give me Nakua over Atwell. Nakua is a better receiver. And I think Stafford's going to throw it more to Nakua than he will Atwell. Would you drop Swift for any of those running backs on your list? Yes. I told you, dude, I'm out on Philly's running backs, bro. I'm out on them. I'm out. You might be better off, hanging on to Swift and maybe trying to trade him. We'll see what happens this week. I don't know, man. They got to get Swift more involved this week, so I don't know if I would drop Swift right now. I think it's a little bit premature if you drop Swift, because I think he could have an okay game and then you could just trade him. You know what I mean? You could put him a part of a package. Swift is a guy that I would package with. It's like Randy was talking about his Zay Flowers, about how this guy wants Zay Flowers or whatever for Montgomery. So he's trying to get Montgomery, right? Use Swift and a Elijah Moore. Use Swift and a Zay Jones or something like that to go get a David Montgomery. Swift is a guy that maybe you have to attach to somebody else to go get a better running back like a Pierce or a Montgomery, or maybe even Mixon. You never know. It's buy low season. Like I said, dude, it's buy low season on Mixon, on Saquon, on Chase. A lot of these guys, you can buy low on them right now. So, and you never know, man. I know, like, I mean, you're not going to get that trade in my league. And I know a lot of this stuff is, you know, it just depends on what league you're in and who's in your league. I mean, in my league, you're not going to get that. But you never know. There's some leagues out there where you got people that don't follow the fantasy as much. They're not as invested into it, you know. Swift and Garrett Wilson for who? Chase, Ridley, St. Brown. Those three guys. If I had Swift and Wilson, I'd be trying to fleece somebody for Chase, Ridley, or St. Brown. That's what I would do. Those are my top three guys. If I'm trying to upgrade Wilson, those are my top three guys. And if it takes me throwing Swift into the equation, I'm punching it every time. And everybody in your league is going to be calling the police, the veto police, bro. That's what I'm doing. Those are the three guys I'm going after, because it's St. Brown didn't have a huge week. Chase obviously didn't have a huge week. And I know Ridley had a decent week, but maybe Garrett Wilson's performance last night was maybe good enough to maybe get the guy to budge a little bit, especially if he needs a running back. I mean, you may not get that, though. Like, Ridley may be a guy that you don't get off of that trade, because Ridley did have a pretty good game. He caught 8 balls. Scored a touchdown. I think he scored, 81 yards receiving, something like that. So you may not get that, but you might be able to get Chase. You might be able to get St. Brown. I would take those guys and run for the hills if I got that. So, okay, laugh out loud. I'm trying for those trades. Yeah, like I said, man, it just depends on what league you're in. If you have some killers in your league, you're probably not going to get it, if I'm being honest. You might have to give up something more than Swift. You gotta think, dude, Swift got 1 carry. Like, if Swift goes out and has like a 10, 12-point game this week, you're gonna have more, you know what I mean? You're gonna have more value to trade him after this week if that happens. The only problem is that Garrett Wilson may not have a good week, though. So, I don't know, dude. I don't trust freaking Zach Wilson at all, especially against that freaking defense. The Cowboys defense is so good. Like I said, they got 2 Pro Bowl corners. And they probably got 2 Pro Bowlers, or maybe even 3 Pro Bowlers on the defensive line, bro. Zach Wilson gonna be running for his life, and really, I think they're gonna try to run the ball as much as possible, which is also gonna hinder Garrett Wilson's performance this week. So Garrett Wilson is an absolutely try to get everything you can get for him this week, in my opinion. So don't come crying back to me on Saturday or Sunday, Monday, whenever it is I go live again, if Garrett Wilson goes for like 3 catches, 20 yards, and he didn't score a touchdown. And you'd be like, man, I can't get rid of this guy now. I'm like, I told you. That's what I'm going to say. So, look, I know it's a bold take. And maybe I end up eating my words about how he plays this week. But I'm willing to stick my neck out there and say that, because I think there's a good chance of it happening. I mean, I don't know. How much do you guys trust Zach Wilson at quarterback after what you guys saw last night? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's what I thought. Eagles defense versus Vikings on Thursday night. I have them starting as of now. I do too, Ray. I also have them starting. I will prove it to you. That way you believe me. I also have Philly's defense right here. And I'm going to start them because it's a Thursday night game, so that kind of benefits the defense. The offenses usually aren't as good. This is a rematch from last year, if you guys remember. I believe it was a Monday Night Football game. Obviously, they're... you know what's funny is that they're at home again. They're actually in Philly again. They were in Philly last year. They're in Philly this year, too. So I'm actually kind of shocked that they're not in Minnesota this week. And if you guys remember, Slay... Big play Slay had pretty much kind of shut down JJ, and it was a bad game for the Vikings, and I think it's going to be another bad game for them this week as well. So it says Browns defense versus Steelers, Broncos defense, Washington. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Eagles, man. I think the Broncos defense could be okay. The Giants defense could be okay too. The Browns defense, I would stick with the Eagles, especially if it's going to cost you money or something, or if it's going to cost you like dollars, like fab dollars to spend or whatever. I would just stay with the Eagles, man. We'll see. The Eagles didn't play very good. I mean, I think they got me 13 points, so it wasn't bad. I know they had the pick six. That kind of helped, obviously. They kind of didn't play as good as I thought they were going to play. I thought they were going to dominate the Patriots. I couldn't believe Mac Jones threw for over 300 yards and was really just kind of dissecting them. Kicker question. I have Jason Myers right now. I have him started, or should I pick up and start Jake Moody? Dude, I'm thinking about picking up Moody myself. Is what's funny, because I had Gano. I have Gano this past week. Now, kind of want to stick with Gano. He is questionable, so I might just go ahead and pick up Moody and be safe. I think Moody's the safe option. I don't like Myers. I don't think Myers is a good kicker. He always misses. He's always missing kicks, seems like. I would pick up Moody. Moody's a safe pick because he's on a good offense. He's going to kick a lot of extra points, and really, he kicked his fair share of like regular field goals as well. Moody's going to have more opportunities. He's on a better offense that's going to be scoring more points. So Moody would be the guy I would go get. I'm probably going to go get Moody myself tonight, if I'm being quite honest. So, let me go to your next one. I have Chubb and Metcalf. That's good. Or not Metcalf. I'm at Olave. Yeah, I have. Yeah, you just saw my team. I have Olave and Chubb as well. Make sure Chubb, if you're starting 3 running backs, make sure Chubb's in your flex this week. The reason why he's in my flex is because he plays Monday night. Rule number 1, you don't want to have flex, or you don't want to have guys that play Monday night that aren't in your flex, just in case something happens to him. Obviously, we'll know if something happens to Chubb before that. My guess is he's fine unless he gets hurt in practice. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But always have Monday night guys in your flex spot. Always. So that's why he's in my flex. Moody could be something special. Yeah, dude, I like Moody. I think I'm gonna pick him up, bro. I was thinking about keeping Gano, but I think I'm like going back and forth. I think I'm gonna pick up Moody, if I'm being honest. Said I have Jalen Hurts, Hawkinson on Thursday. Yeah, man, it's kind of rough, man. I got Devontae Smith, and I got Philly's defense, obviously. I hate Thursday night games, dude. They're always low scoring. It's usually not good for fantasy. You don't want to have too many players that are playing on Thursday night in your lineup usually. It's tough, though, because you got Hurts and Hawkinson, and those are good players, so you have to start them almost. There's no way you can not start them with how much draft value you spend on them. So, if you have any more questions, let me know now, man. I'm probably going to get off here in a second. Probably going to get off. If you guys have any questions, though, after I get off, just send me a message in one of the comments of like one of my videos, and I will answer it as quick as I can. So I know most waiver wire like ads and stuff aren't until the morning, until like either 2 or 3 a.m. or like 6 a.m. I guess it just depends on what league you're in. So you subscribe, man. I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Here's the last look at the waiver wire page. Screenshot it, do whatever you have to do. Like I said, Flowers, go get Flowers if he's out there. I don't know why he would be out there, but if he is, spend whatever you have to spend to go get him. He is a guy that is a win-a-league player if he's on your waiver wire. Kincaid is also the same. I know he's only available in 18% of Yahoo, but he's also a win-a-league player as well. He's going to get peppered. Kincaid's going to start getting peppered with targets as the weeks keep progressing. You can tell Josh Allen loves to throw Kincaid the ball. Love, I would go get Love. I think Love's the best available quarterback. Get him as a backup if you need a backup. If you don't need one, maybe get him and try to trade him to somebody who needs a quarterback. Maybe get something for him. That's another thing that people don't understand is like, you don't have to just go get waiver players because you need somebody. You can go get waiver players and then flip them for trades. So Just remember that as well. Like, I have a pretty good team here in this auction league. I really don't need a running back. I got Hall, Walker, Chubb. I have Mixon. I don't need a running back, but I can still go get one of these running backs and then flip them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Purdy's another guy. Purdy would be second on the list. I like Purdy a lot. He's just in a good offense, you know what I mean? I like Howell. I do have Sam Howell on this team. I may dump him. I don't know. I probably won't. The reason why I can't have Purdy is because he's got the same bye week as my Trevor Lawrence. So there really would be no use in picking up Purdy for me. So, yeah. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to do another stream. We're going to do survivor picks, okay? I'm going to give you guys survivor picks. I'm going to give you my top 3. I'm going to go over why I think they're my top 3, and then I'm going to give you like a top 10 for like guys that are outside of my top 3 and maybe, you know, teams that you guys should consider this week. So, we'll do survivor tomorrow. We might talk about starting and sitting players. I really probably won't do much of start sit tomorrow. I'll just probably go over like Minnesota and Eagles players since they play on Thursday night. And then everybody else for start sit, I'll put a video out or we'll do a live stream like Friday, Saturday, one of those 2 days. We'll just do a live stream, something like during the day or something. Plus we'll have more information, you know what I mean? We'll have more information on guys who are hurt, you know, guys that are ruled out or whatever, you know. So, all right, well, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Survivor video should be, I think I'm going to make a video like I did last week, Survivor video for tomorrow. And then, like I said, start sit, you know, and I'm going to expand the start sit, okay? Like, I'm not going to have just the start and the sit, okay? So like right here, I have start on one side, I got sit on the other side. I'm gonna break it down into like 4 sections, okay? Where it's like must start, probably should start, you know, should maybe sit, and then it's gonna be like definitely sit this guy. You know, I'm gonna break it down into like 4 categories because depending on who's on your team, there's scenarios where like I would start maybe a certain guy in one scenario and I wouldn't start him in another scenario, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It really just depends on what you guys have on your team, you know. So and then like you know, whenever I come out with a start sit and I expand it into 4 categories, if you guys have a specific question over a guy that I say to start or to sit, let me know what the scenario is. Let me know if like this guy on your team, like you have nobody behind the guy and you have to start the guy. Because if that's the case, there could be a guy that I say to sit. In reality though, that you should be starting the guy because you don't have anybody behind him, if that makes any sense. So we'll go over more, like, you know, more in depth on that whenever I do it. But I'm going to expand it to like definitely starting, definitely sitting, and then there's like in between, like, you know, maybe should start, maybe should sit, you know, depending. So I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good night. One last question here. It says, who would you trade Metcalf, Montgomery, or Metcalf, Montgomery, Christian Watson for? Or would you trade these guys at all? I'm kind of iffy at the wide receiver 2 flex spot. Let me see here. You may not be able to get anything for Christian Watson right now because he didn't play. Let me just double check here. You're iffy at the wide receiver 2 flex spot. You can move Montgomery. Now would be the time. I do like Montgomery a little bit. If you had 2 or 3 other solid like running backs, then yeah, you could move him. If he's your number 3 running back and you're a little iffy at, like, you know what I mean, I would maybe try to hang on to him in case you know, maybe one of your running backs goes down, because you can never have enough running backs, man. You can never have enough. I mean, I'm gonna go get a running back tonight off the waiver, and I have Mixon, Brees, Chubb, and Walker, and I'm still gonna go get a running back tonight. Mostly to kind of play some defense, you know, keep somebody else from getting him. But he's your RB3. Who's your RB1 and 2, Ray? If you don't mind me asking. Who's your... I think I would maybe hold on to Metcalf. The only way I'm not holding on to Metcalf is if I could turn him into Ridley or St. Brown. But you're not going to be able to do that, because both of those guys played better than Metcalf this week. Metcalf did all right. 94% of the snaps, which is good. He's going to be a solid guy that's always going to play a lot of downs for the most part. He had 5 targets, 3 catches for just under 50 yards and a touchdown. But he's getting you like 15, a little more than 15 yards per catch, which is good. It means he's getting down the field targets, and he's going to get down the field targets because he's a speedster, and he's a big receiver. And Metcalf had the best red zone target share of any receiver last year. So it's kind of tough to trade that guy away unless you're getting like a Ridley or a St. Brown. If you can't get somebody of that caliber, I'm not trading him. There's no way. You got Jamal Williams, AJ Dillon, Pirine on the bench. But who are your 2 running backs? Who are the 2 guys you have in front of Montgomery? We got Chubb and then Saquon stack. Missed out on big wide receiver 1. Still got Olave in the 4. So you have Olave. So you have Olave and Metcalf. And then you have Dillon and Pirine on the bench. Okay, so you could move Montgomery. I would feel comfortable moving Montgomery because you have Pirine and Dillon. And you have Jamal Williams. I don't really care about Jamal Williams. But Dillon and Pirine are good guys that like could break out if either Javonte or Jones, who is currently hurt, ends up missing time. Now I wouldn't give away Monty for free, but you could try to move. Trying to think here. I feel like if you gave up Monty and Metcalf for like Calvin Ridley or St. Brown, I feel like you'd be giving up too much. Not saying you couldn't win that trade, but I feel like you'd be giving up too much. I like Olave. Hold on to Olave. Really, your team's not bad. Who's your quarterback? You got a good quarterback too? If you get a good quarterback, bro, you might be good. I take it you won this week, right? Maybe. I know Saquon didn't really perform very well for you. Don't let anybody buy Saquon from you for low. You're gonna have people trying to go buy low on Saquon. I mean, I'm telling you guys to go buy low on Saquon if you don't own him. The same is true if you do own him. Don't let somebody take advantage of you and buy low on him. You get Jalen Hurts at quarterback. That's right. You don't have to make a trade, bro. You don't have to. I feel like your team's decent. I would try to move Watson and Monty. Maybe you could move Watson and Monty to get like a Ridley or a St. Brown. You know what I mean? Maybe you could move Watson and Monty to get Debo. I think Debo is reasonable. Yeah, Chubb, Saquon not going anywhere. Good. Yeah, I would try to move Watson. The problem is you're going to have to pair him up with Monty probably, or even, you know, maybe if somebody wants Pirine or Dillon or something, you know what I mean? Keep the 2 running backs, keep Olave. I would probably keep Metcalf. The only way I'm trading like Monty and Metcalf, the only way I'm trading Monty and Metcalf is if I'm getting like Chase or Tyreek Hill. It's the only way I'm trading a combination of Monty and Metcalf. You could maybe do it for Ridley, but there's a chance that you lose that trade if something happens to Ridley, obviously, or, you know, if Monty ends up being a league winner or something. You know, I would explore Watson and Monty together for like a Debo push for Amon-Ra, St. Brown, or Ridley. If they're willing to do it, then, you know, run for the hills, and I'll call the veto police on you. But yeah, do that and run for the hills. You know, So yeah, I would stoop for those guys first. I would settle for Debo. Like if I had your team and I had Watson and Monty, I would settle for Debo and maybe another, you know, maybe I'd have to get a running back or something, or maybe somebody else. Maybe, you know, maybe he has like a Zay Flowers or somebody of that caliber on his team. Maybe you could get 2 for 2. So Watson, though, if you really wanted to move Christian Watson, you might have to wait a week or two, like, you know, when he comes back. But you may not have to move anybody at all, dude. You may not have to move anybody. You may be just okay. Maybe just be patient, play it slow. Maybe Watson comes back this week. Maybe he looks good. Maybe he doesn't, you know. The dude who has Ridley, their RBs are Madison and Stevenson. What if Madison isn't that great? I don't think Madison is that great. He fell in the end zone for a reception touchdown. If he didn't have that, he had a horrible day. I don't think Madison is that good. I don't think the Vikings are going to be that good this year. The receiver like Jefferson, you know, receivers like Jefferson, I think Hawkinson and Addison can be okay because they're going to pass the ball a ton. I do not like Madison this year. I never did. I told you guys to stay away from him because he's not Dalvin Cook. And he's not going to catch the ball that much. I think he got lucky with that reception touchdown that he had, but I would rather have Monty over Madison. And a lot of people might think that's crazy, but I don't. They already got Hill. He's already got Hill and Adams. I would consider Adams too. Like I would consider Christian Watson and a Monty for Adams. Maybe I don't even know why I forgot about Adams. Maybe Waddle's out there, you know. The thing is like I know you like Monty, and maybe it's not Monty. Maybe you go Watson and Pirine or Dylan. You know, maybe you don't have to give a Monty to go get like a Waddle or a I just had the other guy's name, like Debo, you know. Keenan Allen's out there too. I wouldn't do, let's just put it this way, I wouldn't do Christian Watson and Monty for like Keenan Allen and you know, guys that are in that 3rd, 4th round at range. I wouldn't do that. Debo's like the only one that I would do it for. But I wouldn't do it for Mike Williams. I wouldn't do it for Keenan. I wouldn't do it for like a Christian Kirk or Terry McLaurin. I wouldn't do it for those guys, obviously, for good reason, obviously. We'll have to see, man. It depends on the person you're trading with and how much they value Christian Watson. If they don't value him much because he missed the game this week, then maybe you wait a week or two before you make a trade. You know what I mean? Maybe Watson ends up being I was high on Watson, Christian Watson, going into the season. It's disappointing that he didn't play. I thought he looked decent in the preseason. I do think it is concerning that he has a hamstring issue, considering that he had one last year and he's young and he's a speedster. So those are kind of some red flags. A guy that's young that's dealing with a hamstring issue is concerning, especially if it's 2 years in a row, and especially if he's really fast, because that means it may not go away. Because he's a fast runner, so he's, you know what I mean? It's going to be more and more likely to flare up on him again. So, but it could be a decent chance to cut your losses this week if you could maybe sell him before, say, he really ends up missing multiple weeks, you know? So, or maybe you wait a week. It just depends, man. It just depends. If I attach Monty to Christian Watson, though, it's got to be Debo or better. It's got to be Debo or better, in my opinion. What if I did Metcalf, Watson, and Montgomery for Ridley and Stevenson, or remove Watson from that? Is this full PPR? It's got to be full PPR, right? This is standard. It's a standard, bro. You're in standard. Don't do that in standard. This right here, don't do this in standard. Let me go back to my waiver wire page. Don't do that in standard, bro. Because Stevenson is and look, I love Stevenson. I got Stevenson on my other team. Stevenson's a PPR monster, okay? He's a PPR guy. I don't like him as much in standard, obviously. I would value him almost a round or two below what his like draft grade is in standard. Just because Zeke's there and everything else, you know what I mean? So if it's standard, I'm glad you got Chubb and Saquon. Don't ever give those guys up unless it's like a king's ransom. So there's no points per reception in this league. So like if a receiver catches the ball, there's no points, right? It's standard, so it's just yardage and touchdowns. That's good for DK. Because DK doesn't really catch a lot of passes, but he's good for yardage and touchdowns. So don't trade. I would actually value DK a little bit better in say a standard league. And the same thing with Ridley. I would want Ridley. So here's the deal. I would do Watson and Montgomery for Ridley in a heartbeat then, if that's the case, right? I really would, I think, because you would have Metcalf, Ridley, and Olave. You'd be solid at receiver. You're already solid at running back, and you have Dillon and Pirine on the bench. Dillon is a very similar running back to Montgomery. They just play on different teams, and they're really in very similar situations. They both have a receiving running back that's kind of handcuffed to them, that they kind of split, you know, time with. But Jones is kind of dealing with a hamstring issue, so I think you would be okay losing Montgomery, having Dillon as your third guy, if I'm being honest. It would be a little bit of a blow right now, but down the road, you could maybe be like in the driver's seat. No points per catch. If you could add Ridley with like a Watson and a Montgomery, I don't know who would do that. If somebody would do that, like I said, I would take it and run for the hills. I would take it and run for the hills. If you could move Christian Watson and Montgomery for Ridley right now, or even St. Brown, or even Jalen Waddle, I would do it right now. I would do it right now. Waddle's really not going to catch a ton of Waddle didn't catch a ton of balls, but he can get you yardage. Waddle's a guy who can do a lot with few catches because he's so fast and he's schemed so well. He's got Tyreek out there as well. So Waddle would be pretty decent, I think, you know, barring his health. As long as he stays healthy, he could be pretty good in a standard league at receiver as well. I'm assuming this is 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex, right? I'm assuming that's what that is, right? Yeah, no points per catch. Thanks for helps. Yeah, man. No problem, dude. No problem. That's what I'm here for, bro. That's what I'm here for. Try to go get those 3 guys, man. Waddle, St. Brown, Ridley. If you could get any of those 3 guys for your Christian Watson and Montgomery, run for the hills. I'll call the veto police, okay? And they'll be chasing you for the rest of the year, probably.
Robbery in progress.
So, I appreciate you, man. I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna jump off. Just come back to the video if you want to see the waiver wire page again, I guess, or take a screenshot of it right now. And like I said, tomorrow, Survivor, sit, start. We'll do that later on in the week. I'm out of here. Peace out. You guys have a good one. We'll catch you guys later.